Good evening and welcome to the Town of Belgrade Planning Board meeting of July 17, 2025. It's exactly 6:01. And we're gonna call the meeting to order. We're gonna go to a roll call. And presently tonight we have Mr. Richard Baker and Mr. Nick Sakaro and Mr. Peter Surgeon, myself, Sarah Langette, Mr. George Seal, Mr. Craig Alexander, and our CEO, Hans Rasmussen. I will invite the audience to introduce themselves, please.
Jeff and Ramya Spalding.
All right,
Jeff and Karen Allen.
thank you. And,
I'm Tanya Rathanis, I'm here with the Lakes and Natural Resources Committee.
all right,
Pat Donahue, same reason.
all right, thank you. So with that, we're gonna proceed, to the new business today. First, we have the application for KEF Corporation, which is Can Moden. Location is, 51 Moden Way, map 15, lot 7 and 8. The purpose is for a, commercial development, review ordinance application. And is to build a 2,100 square feet craft building. And with that, I open the floor for the applicant to present the application.
Thank you. Again, my name is Jeff Allen from A.E. Hudson Engineers. And so what I've got tonight is just a plan of Camp Moden in general. And just to kind of orient you, this is Salmon Lake over here. This dash line is the 250-foot setback. And you can see the project that we're doing now is actually just a little bit into the shoreline zone. Because the lake has a little inlet, a little finger that comes in this way. That we have to have the same 250-foot setback. So this is the camp here with the cabins and dining hall and such, and we're not changing that at all. The project tonight is just to add this, in your application, it's 2,100 square feet, but the applicant contacted me a couple days ago and would like to increase that to 3,000 square feet. Can go through and tell you the calculations, the difference that will make in there. So if we can do 3,000, that would be easier for them and be more what they're looking for. The area where we're putting the camp is an existing impervious surface. They have a like a field or soccer field that's over there that's already impervious, and they found that they haven't been using it a lot lately. So what they're doing now is just want to replace that with a craft building that they can do crafts in, and then probably they'll put up a temporary tent or something over the rest of it, so that they'll have a place for the kids to go during inclement weather or just to get out of the sun or whatever. So I'm going to turn this around. This is the sort of a blow up of the existing court. You can see sort of right in this area here. And then this is the 3,000 square foot building. Yours in your application is a 2,100 square feet. There's just a little narrower. What they've done here now is just expand it to cover a little bit more of the field. They're not going off of the the previously improved impervious area, just make the building a little bit larger.
Towards the water now?
Here's where,
It is going over here. Well, right now, this is all impervious, so the building just the corner of the building was in the 250-foot setback before. Now it will be about 40% of the building roughly will be in there.
You've mentioned field a couple times, that's a impervious surface, it's not astroturf for some.
No, it's I actually included a copy of a photo of it in your application.
My thought was, I didn't think the field would be impervious.
It's,
surface.
it-
No, it's hard surface. I think.
Yeah,
Hard
it's-
surface.
it's concrete.
Yeah, concrete.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right,
it's concrete.
answered my question.
So that's, and I guess that's, you can see the blue surface here in this picture.
Yeah.
Right now, they've got temporary walls around the outside of the plastic. What's that?
What page?
Oh, it's about, fourth page in. Maybe more than that, I'm not sure. You have,
The page numbers are at the bottom, or you have any different,
I think your copy has all of the deeds and everything, mine does not, it's exhibit E.
say, okay, here we go.
Okay, yeah, Hans is showing that on the screen now. The blue area, is, that's where this is going.
So how big is exactly that blue area?
The blue area is about 65 feet by 65 feet wide. I don't know the exact length of it. It's around 150, something like that.
That's much more than 3,000. So
Right.
they're gonna put it in a partial of that area,
Right, all of the building will be in that area, but not all of the area will be covered.
okay.
Will all the concrete that's not covered by the proposed new building gonna be removed or remain?
The intent is to keep it, and then they'll set up tents over there, for, outdoor activities during the summer when the campers are there. So there's no change to the amount of impervious surface, just some of it will be rooftop rather than ground.
I know this doesn't make any difference, but exactly which side of the building is gonna be? It's gonna be,
The building will be on the camp side. This is, it's hard to see, a bit lighter lines here. but
yeah, so
this
it's
is-
gonna be more towards the right of the
It's
picture.
all toward, yeah, it's as far out of the shoreline zone as possible. It'll be on that image on the upper right hand edge.
But the additional 900 that you plan on adding will be towards the southwest,
Correct.
which.
And it's nothing's been added there yet, so I'm just hoping the change from 2,100 to 3,000 would be.
The problem is you're adding a lot more square footage in shoreline zoning, which, we haven't done any math yet or anything about.
Yeah. So we're not adding more impervious surface.
Now, what the red line means,
The red line appears to be the shoreline zone.
It's the proximate shoreline zone. Well, I just overlaid that last time right here.
Versus your survey?
Yeah, well, that's very close. That's sort of, this is just pulled off of aerial imagery. It goes here, which is similar to what you have, and then kind of arcs around because that inlet comes in here to a point.
You can see it right here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Right.
How many feet is it from the inlet to the concrete?
The red line is 250.
Do you know how much square footage of shoreline zone that camp has in total?
I believe
The whole camp,
the whole camp, I believe,
how much they own of shoreline zone?
I don't have that. It's quite, you look at this other diagram, several hundred feet, because it starts. starts over here, goes all the way out to a point, then around here. Up to here. So it would be several hundred feet, perhaps 1,000, 1,500. Yeah, that's the whole, the edge of the property is at the top of your screen.
That red line is the shoreline zoning and everything.
Yes,
So originally, the 2,100 was behind that line, or some of it got over the line?
some of it was over the line,
Okay. You know how much?
no. I would think the original one had, there was probably, out of the 2,100. I would estimate, not having measured it, but I would estimate around, 400, 500. For over the line.
So then we're talking about half of the building will be over the line. Because we added 900 is 30%.
Said earlier 40%.
Was it 40%? Okay, so 40 times 21 would be about 500. 550.
Is it
moving off the impervious that you already have, or is
No,
It's all staying inside.
Exactly, yeah, it's gonna stay on the existing purpose.
So again, it's safe to say half the building is over the red line towards the.
Probably now, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all behind the 100-foot mark?
Yes,
And they had plenty of land, plenty of shoreline zoning. And
I just wanna get informed well, so if there are questions down the road, I
Sure.
can. Intelligently answer in intelligent way, in informed way, so that's all.
now one of the things, we look at is, stormwater and phosphorus impact. Phosphorus running off a rooftop is a half a pound per year per acre of rooftop. Running off the ground, off pavement, which is essentially what's there now, is 1.25 pounds per year per acre of that. So changing 3,000 square feet, which is 0.069 acres, from rooftop or from pavement to rooftop, actually decreases your phosphorus runoff by about 0.05 pounds per year. So,
Is that significant? I have no idea.
oh, it's huge. But at least it's a change in the right direction.
Yes, yes, right.
Yeah, it's
I'll take that.
outstanding, Sarah. You wouldn't, you know.
So, where's the 100-foot mark in that map here? Roughly?
I didn't delineate it.
So,
The 100-foot mark, my guess would be,
what do you think would be?
So
My
how,
question is the pavement thing. Asphalt, is that into the 100 feet or back?
no,
no,
the 100-foot mark would be less than half from the water to. the
that's right.
I
Exactly,
can
so.
show you a quick measure here.
Alright.
Again,
I just wanna get that
satellite
clarified.
From here to the corner, you're at 118 feet, well, 119.2 to that corner. And this is going off of the imagery, so. So it's not in the 100-foot setback at all.
and again, we're only gonna be using up, about a third of that blue area. So I guess looking at it that way, that blue area should be about, you know, roughly 9,000 square feet, I would estimate.
Um,
And you mentioned maybe in the future, there's gonna be any kind of height restriction we have to worry about? We even go to 35 feet, 100 feet back.
No, they're talking about a one-story building, but they'll probably have a pretty steep pitch on the roof, so I would imagine 25 feet, 27 feet to the peak.
Right?
So, for the, number buffers things, or that people that wanna know, we said that the blue area, it was 65 or 150, isn't it? 65 along the whole blue area,
the whole, approximate,
approximately.
well,
So it's something closer to 10,000 square feet. Yeah, 9750, more or less, yeah. We're good on the numbers there.
Is the facility gonna have toilet facilities and stuff like that?
yes, and what they're doing is just piping that, they'll have a small septic tank right there and pump it over to their existing septic system. And so it won't really be an increase in septic because the kids will either go to the bathroom there or they'll go to somewhere else on camp, so it's really no change in the.
Yeah.
A lot of people are serving.
And it'll be tied to the camp's overall public drinking water supply.
Yes. And that's a regulated public supply.
You have anything else to present to us?
That's it. Be happy to answer any questions.
Does the board have any other questions?
So what are we looking for here? We're not doing an application tonight. What are we doing?
I think we're gonna go over the application to make sure that it's completed, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
The first step, and then because it's commercial application, we have to advise all the abutters. 2 weeks, then we have a full hearing next time. And next time we go to, decide whether
They're
that's.
gonna revise the building, it's 900 square feet bigger now.
Right, we have the drawing here, but we can update the forms in the document.
But the only thing we're gonna do today is make sure that the application is completed.
Yeah.
So here starts the pain, all right?
Are you gonna sail through this?
All right. So, we have a sheet that help us to go through all this. Actually,
Let me pull it up.
yeah, that'd be nice. We don't do this every single month or every week, and we go, we just go by the checklist, and we go by the question by question, read the whole thing. We just go by the checklist, only. Just check on that. All right, let's start. So, applicant name is KEF Corporation, DBA Cam Morning. Development name is, Craft Building. And, notice provided by the CEO to the landowners. So that's gonna happen in the next, 2 weeks. All right, number one, we have the application, so that's complete. Then applicant agent authorization letter, that's complete. Copy of the deed, option, sales agreement, lease, or other documentation of title, right, or interest. That's complete.
I have a question if I may about that.
Sure.
I can't remember exactly if it was in the introductory letter or elsewhere in the application, but there, I came across mention that lot 3 that this is on is, a long-term, like 50-year lease. Can you clarify
I
that?
believe it. The camp has several leases with abutters
Mhm.
to lease their land. And they do the long-term leases because they're, making capital improvement to the property. And so the only way to, make sure they have control of that is have a long-term lease like that.
Right,
So
and,
I think actually this property was purchased from the abutter, maybe. No, I don't know, if I included his name on here.
That would be Ray, right?
Ray,
Ray Hewitt.
yes,
okay.
yeah,
So this isn't,
This
this
is not,
project's not on leased
it's
land.
not, no, this is.
Okay, the only reason I ask is if it was, we would need a copy of the lease.
Yeah,
Oh, there
I
you
think
go.
the copy of all the leases and the deeds should be. included in
Okay,
that.
so, anyway, but that's irrelevant as it turns out.
I've got
Okay,
an
thank you.
email from, Jeff stating that it was purchased
Okay,
from Redwood.
very good. Thank you.
We learn something new every day. That's awesome. Right, written waiver request, that's not applicable, is it?
That's correct. There's no such
No,
request.
no, we will need any of that. Copy of tax map of property, that's complete. Copy of Kennebec, company sold map of the property, that's complete. Copy of USGS topographic map showing property location, that's complete. Copy of Belgrade shoreline zoning map showing property location, that's complete. Copy of flood insurance map showing property, that's complete. Copy of national wetlands inventory map showing property, that's complete. Copy of Maine Geological Survey significant sand and gravel aquifer map showing property location, that's not applicable. Page 2. Copy of Maine Drinking Water Program map of public drinking water supply showing property location, that's complete. Copy of NDOT highway entrance of access permit, not applicable. Copy of MDOT traffic movement permit and traffic movement study, not applicable. Copy of required state or local permits, not applicable.
So can we discuss that for a moment a little bit? And Jeff, you weren't here at the last meeting when this was on our agenda, and we had a short discussion with Hans about whether or not a shoreline zoning permit would be required. And I think we need to take that, we didn't, well, first off, we didn't want to go too far because you weren't here.
Sorry.
And secondly, we didn't conclude that discussion anyway, so I think we need to talk about that. Because if a shoreline zoning permit's required, then obviously a local permit is required. And we need to, you know, that needs to be reflected here.
Okay.
Sorry, impervious there. I don't know.
That's, my thought is the same as Craig's, it's already existing impervious space, it's just being. Redone. It's actually lowering the impact. So. It's way beyond the setback. So.
Yeah, I don't disagree that the footprint isn't changing. The amount of vegetated surface isn't changing, but in terms of a different kind of structure going partially into the shoreline zone seems to me to require a permit.
Oh,
Yeah, I think, we're in shoreline zoning, so we're gonna do, they're gonna do a commercial permit. And that can do a shoreline zoning, that's all you combine them. Yeah, you and shoreline zoning gotta go through it.
Thing about it is if it needs a shoreline zoning permit, it needs a shoreline zoning application.
Right.
I don't think you can just say, oh, it's not making anything worse. The permit is a permit.
Yeah, I mean, the criteria that we're talking about, footprint, stormwater runoff, the amount of unvegetated surface, those are all criteria that we take into account when we're deciding whether to approve the permit or not. Whether it needs a permit is a different set of criteria. And it seems to me that one of those criteria is whether there's a change in essentially an expansion of the structure. And that's the case here. My opinion. An existing structure.
But expansions behind 100 feet. Are unlimited.
Yeah, but that's again, the criteria by which we judge whether or not to issue a permit, not whether a permit is required. It's within 250 feet. That's what's critical in terms of us, our judgment as to our decision whether or not a permit's required under the ordinance.
In this application for commercial, we're not reviewing things like, is it more than 25% of the lot coverage and stuff like that, so if you just go by simply the commercial development review ordinance, you're not reviewing all the things that the shoreline zoning ordinance would require.
Right, and one of the findings of fact we have to make to issue our approval under this ordinance, the commercial development review ordinance, is that it's gotten all its other local permits. And so we have an obligation before issuing an approval under this ordinance to make sure that's the case.
Do we have previous permits given to this location that will cover that?
I'm sorry,
Do we have a previous permit to that location that will cover that up?
that I don't know.
So if we have a previous area like a port there. Before when the port there, they had, it was previous. So somehow there have to be a permit at one point or another before this.
That may be long enough that it was before your permitting was required for the court.
Okay,
But again, you know, if
I mean,
somebody's
there's
got
height
a,
restrictions within, 200 feet, unless we can put that in stipulations that they can't go higher than.
well, and
I mean, I agree, it can't hurt to fill up, I know the pain, but.
yeah, and it, it isn't a matter that I'm trying to
Right.
hurt or not
Mhm.
hurt, it's more a matter of what does the ordinance say.
yes, and actually,
They are building structure within.
based on that vision, definitely it will trigger the need for an application.
And I'm not making any prejudgment about whether it'll be difficult or not difficult to obtain that permit. There's a lot, that isn't very controversial about this, but,
It's part of the rule.
it's just a question of,
Yeah, I
are we
agree.
gonna follow the town ordinance?
Yeah, and I did look in the files, there was no permits
Hmm.
taken out for those courts when they were originally built.
So then we're gonna need to complete that permit. It is applicable, and we're gonna need to complete that permit.
What will a permit be for? Just the new building?
Correct.
Okay.
I think I'm right about that, aren't I? Yeah, because that's the only change that you're making in the shoreline.
Yes.
A part of the shoreline zone.
I don't see why we cannot take that application right before.
Oh, I
That's
don't
why-
either. I think
that's-
we can coordinate it easily.
I don't think it's
if
gonna
that were-
delay your project.
Oh, yeah,
Well, with this, can they build commercial in, shoreline zoning?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
So wouldn't this building fall under the commercial?
it falls under both.
So
Yeah,
you're doing commercial and,
right,
Sure.
yeah, yeah.
So we
Well,
actually-
it triggers both the
Yes.
commercial development.
so if somebody wanted to build a commercial building in shoreline zoning, they would have to do both permits
That's right.
as well. They couldn't. just
Probably,
make
but
commercial.
they're, because the commercial development ordinance. Has fairly, because it's potentially possible to have have a new business in the shoreline zone that the structure isn't large enough, for example, to trigger the commercial development review ordinance. So in most cases, probably, but I can't say 100%.
So I can get that application done and submit it as soon as possible,
Yeah.
but
We'll
you might-
review that application right before reviewing this one next time.
okay.
Yeah, so in terms of the checklist, we just hold this open as
That's right.
something to come back to.
Yeah. When is your next meeting?
First week in August.
I'm sorry.
First week in August, first Thursday in August.
Would you sign, everyone sign that sheet that you're here for attendance purposes?
So, thank you, that was a good catch, Mr. Seal. All right, so, next item is a one copy of a 24 by 36 site development plan drawn to scale. And that's complete.
I can leave you with these. These are the newer ones. The one that I submitted before is the old design, so I can be happy to do these.
Is it clear on there in terms of the revision numbers and all that kind of stuff that this is the once we put that in the
Yeah.
project file that,
Yeah, it says revised building and today's date.
okay,
Yeah,
Does it have the date?
yes, today's date.
Thank you. All right. Detailed to scale drawings showing location and construction specifications of drainage features, roads, sidewalks, access points, driveways, parking, traffic control features, fire control structures, and public improvements. That's not applicable. Documentation meets applicable state and federal air quality regulation requirements, not applicable. Soil erosion control plan for Article 6, Section 3, that's complete. NDEP certified contractor name to be announced.
so we can handle that
Next
through
one.
condition.
Yeah.
And that's something we can provide to Hans.
Location of site structure listed on National Registry of Historic Places, not applicable. The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are not applicable, so I'm gonna read them. Just read them. Number 1, location of, Maine Historic Preservation Commission archaeological sites. Information needed to meet air quality standards. Information needed to meet access to public streets standard. Protection measures for historic and archaeological resources. Estimated quantity of flammable, combustible, and hazardous substances to be stored, handled, generated, including waste oil and antifreeze. Evidence of MDEP citing regulations for oil storage and hazardous substance facilities, or are non-applicable. Copy of application provided to the fire chief by planning board or CEO that's completed.
Is that indeed the case?
Excuse me.
You haven't really had an opportunity, have you, to provide an application, the copy of the application to the fire department, to the fire chief?
No,
Yeah, so then we're holding on that one.
But that's the town's responsibility.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Other information needed to meet material storage standards, including bulk storage of combustible and flammable materials and hazardous substances, not applicable. Visual impact assessment. That's not applicable.
I'd like to discuss that just a little bit to make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
So let me just read what's in the ordinance about visual impact assessments. This is under natural resources protection, in the performance standards. Any development to be placed on a lakeshore or a hilltop may be required to prepare a visual impact assessment to provide evidence that it will not significantly impact the quality of Belgrade's scenic resource. That's it, pretty vague. Not a lot that you can hang your hat on. I only bring this up because it is a standard in the ordinance. My personal feeling is this is not applicable because it's of the context in which it's being constructed. It's part of a much bigger camp. Whatever visual impact happened, 60, 70, 80 years ago. So that would be my rationale for why this is not applicable, but I thought we should at least talk about it because it is a standard of the ordinance.
The shoreline does natural spring, see if Walk Reed along the shoreline. This
good
area.
point. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Would, have to come right up into the.
Even more so.
Yeah, the context.
Yeah. Anyway, that would be.
Yeah.
That's a second good reason why I don't think it's applicable.
I'm gonna say no to.
Well, now that we're talking about that, so everything is at the same level then. That whole area is at the same level. It's not that, like, the courts are at a higher plane.
No elevation.
These courts are elevated over here, but this is fairly flat.
So that
There's an
vegetation
existing
would provide
property
good
fence
screening.
too, just on the lake side of the court. It'll block at least half of the lake.
It's a shadow of the fence there.
I'm gonna lean towards not applicable.
Right,
I agree.
we'll continue. Plan based on IF&W critical areas program recommendations to migrate impact on natural areas and wild habitat, including deer wintering areas. And that's complete. All the information needed to meet natural resource protection standards, not applicable. Application submission. Is the board requiring post-development noise monitoring and reporting plan not applicable? Information needed to meet noise standard not applicable. Exterior lighting plan and specific lighting fixtures. We don't have any lighting here, are we?
There'll be some lighting in underneath, in the building, but, and there's probably one by the door or something, but. The only time these will be on is during the summer when light doesn't go on until, right, they wouldn't need lights. And actually, the children won't be there. At night, they'd be back at the cabin.
The application does give some information about the lighting and the light, so I believe that's complete.
All right. Is board requiring post-development light monitoring and reporting plan? Not applicable.
I agree.
Information to meet parking standard, Article 6, Section 9. Not applicable.
I think so. There's no parking driven by this.
No,
Written statement from the fire chief on capacity of fire department to provide adequate protection. We'll be waiting for that, huh?
Right.
Written statement from sheriff department approving any proposal security measures. We,
Okay.
NA. Other information to meet public safety and emergency services standard, Article 6, Section 10. NA,
I believe so.
thank you. Information to meet screening of structures, parking lots, and other non-residential usage standard, Article 6, Section 11.
I believe that's not applicable.
NA,
Yeah, I agree.
to scale profile based on view of post sign. NA. All information to meet sign standard, NA. Stormwater management plan. That's completed. We're on to the last page. All the information to meet stormwater management standard. Article 6, section 13. That's NA. So surface waste disposal site evaluation from HHE -200. That's NA. All the information to meet waste standard. Section 6, Article 6, section 14. NA. Groundwater quality and quantity impact assessment. NA. Copy of the restrictions related to drinking water and groundwater protection. NA. Copy of main drinking water program public water supply approval and source water protection plan. NA. Copy of DEP stormwater management permit. NA.
I have a question about that. Is there an overall DEP permit for the entire facility?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
So
So,
that's complete then. But-
yes,
But we don't, do we have that?
I
We don't have a copy of it?
have it.
I can send you a copy of the most recent permit.
I will appreciate that then. So we're gonna leave it
Yeah.
open then. Phosphorus export control method. NA. All the information to meet water quality standard. NA. Supplemental site plan requirement for mineral extraction operation. You have any goal there?
I'm sorry.
Everything else is
NA.
NA.
Not your strike.
Just put it
We
there.
prefer not to respond to the question about the goal.
Yeah. 5 years mining, reclamation plan, mineral extraction, processing, operation, procedure and hours. Geological study of groundwaters, movement and quality. Written extraction, processing buffer agreement with the borders. Reclamation of, plant, extraction processing. Design and operation, detailed stationary, petroleum storage and equipment fueling, other information to meet mineral extraction and processing operation standards, information to meet overnight accommodations standard, Article 7, Section 2. All of that is not applicable. Visual impact assessment of telecommunication tower. Main registered professional engineer certification for telecommunications. All information to meet telecommunications tower standards. Visual impact assessment of wind turbine. Impact study of wind turbine. Identification of roads to be used for wind turbine. All that is not applicable. We don't do any of that, but because it's in the checklist, we're required to read it, especially for the public. Hiring an engineer of the town at applicant's expense to document road conditions prior to use or damage after, not applicable. Emergency response plan during equipment transport, not applicable. Turbine general liability certificate insurance, not applicable. And we deem the application complete, I guess, with exception of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items that are marked right here,
Okay,
all right?
Why don't we just review those?
yeah, if you could, I only have two, the shoreline zone permit and a copy of the main DEP permit.
So we're gonna need a copies of the, we're gonna need that application for the shoreline zone, yeah? That's number 1. We're gonna need, the name of the contractor and number. We're gonna need, this is on our side, I'm sorry, this one, the fire chief, provide a copy of the application to the fire chief That's something that we have to do. Same with the, written statement from the fire chief, that's on our side, so far you have only two, and then the third one is the copy of the stormwater management permit. So you only have three.
Okay, we will not likely have the contractor name, so we can ask for that to be conditioned.
That would be a condition, yes. So you only have, you're right, you only have two things to do.
They're not doing any earth moving. So really, contract DEP certification is not relative.
That's a good point.
They will have, will be removing some of that pavement to put in a foundation or a slab for this new building.
All right,
I'd leave it in there,
okay.
and that would be something again that we could provide to Hans.
So we, I gotta have this, here, so we. The field as it is on a slab. We're gonna take part of the slab out now,
And
then,
put in a structural slab for a building.
okay. All right, I thought that the slab was gonna stay there. So,
Well,
The
it's-
rest of it, that they're not,
Yeah.
the building's not gonna be.
Yes,
right.
But
They're gonna have
that's,
a foundation.
if, we can't just build on this slab because it doesn't have any structural part to it.
okay, gotcha. All right, that said. I will entertain a motion to. Deem the application complete.
I would, personally, and the way we've handled this in the past, when we've had just a few minor issues, we hold off on that vote. But proceed with, until the next meeting, once we have, the items that are missing. Which, you know, the shoreline zoning permit, and the other item. But proceed with the public notice and all that, just keep the ball rolling.
Okay,
Rather than voting now on an application that's.
I have probably to vote with the condition of those two items, but if we feel more comfortable doing it next meeting, that would be great, that's fine.
I certainly would suggest that you sign this until those things are.
Okay.
submitted.
So, let's go that way then, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not gonna affect your timeline or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is, won't start at the earliest until this fall, because the children are here, or will be coming soon. And, they can't do anything for a couple months, or month and a half anyway, while the kids are here.
so then I guess I will entertain a motion to table the vote for this application to next meeting. Is that appropriate? Okay.
I'll make a motion to table the application, until our following meeting.
Yeah, for the completion of the application, yeah, second,
I'll second that,
all right, so we're gonna vote here. Mr. Sakara,
yes.
Mr. Sergi,
Yeah,
Mr. Seal,
Yes,
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
And me, Sharon, I guess is 5 yes, no opposed, and we're gonna be, tabling the, voting on the completeness of the application. However, we're gonna proceed with the, notifying their voters. Right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Okay, next item in the agenda is item B. And the applicant is Dot Frame for Spalding Family. The location is 66 Pine Beach. Map 42, lot 9. And the purpose is a shoreline zone application. Demo and relocating principal dwelling. We have Mr. Frame here.
Evening.
Good evening.
How is everybody?
Good, so with that, I will give the floor to Mr. Frame.
Thank you. I'm representing Jeff and Ronnie Spalding. I'd like to just introduce them and tell you a little bit about themselves and what their plans are. They're planning a retirement here in Belgrade. Why don't you guys start?
I grew up in Wales, Maine, and I met my wife. We've been traveling back and forth from wherever we lived, a couple of times a year, so. We decided that instead of being on plan all the time, just settle here. Not quite ready to retire, but still working some here and there, but. We have a couple daughters that visit, here and there, so just trying to build a year-round house instead of a cabin that seems to let every bug and critter in, and so.
All right,
Thank you. So we're at 66 Pine Beach Road. They currently have a home there that's 25 feet from the high water mark. That's 768 square feet. I believe they have the updated plot plan for that. And then we have a couple sheds that are within 0 to 25 foot setback. Our plan is to demolish the existing structure, the one that's 25 feet from the high water mark, and replace it with a modest year-round home. That's 1,488 square feet. Originally, we had it set at the 75 foot setback, but after meeting with Hans, we realized we had a restriction that kind of drove the change that we have on the plan. The back left corner of the home needs to be 50 feet from the center of the private roadway. So we adjusted the house. We're 64.1 feet away from the high water mark, which leaves us with 468 square feet inside the 75 foot zone, which is still, I think, a reasonable exchange given the reduction of 768 and the 64 square feet for one shed and 18 feet for the other shed. And there's going to be a new septic system installed. They currently have a well on site. Hans has the septic design. I think that was in the packet as well. And we have all the plans for the home. They get it all, Hans?
You got it all. So just to explain the setback from the road shoreline zone, it says 25 feet from the near edge of the private or shared. But our minimum lot size says 2 times the height in the center.
Yeah, we changed that when we redid the shoreline zone, the 25 feet. So I don't know how it's everything pan out, because
Yeah,
I'd rather see it back to 25 feet than this.
well, it was certainly a question I had as well, but. I mean, that's a new one on me, but, because it was never,
The way it's, if I could interject, the way it's worded, it's the greater of the two. So it says 25 feet or 2 times the building height. And I agree, I think 25 makes the most sense. I mean, the reason.
Well, we did away with that 2 times.
That's right.
Building height.
Right, Craig's correct. We did away with when we revised the.
Shoreline zone.
this was a year ago.
No, this was several years
Prior
ago.
to, COVID. We just,
oh, that's right, I
But when you
remember.
Well,
conflicting ordinances, you go with the stricter of the two.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, that's a legal principle.
But on the other hand, isn't being further away from the lake more strict than being closer to the private road? So you could take it either way.
Greg, when you say it was, we did away with the,
2 times the building height.
yeah.
And so we didn't catch that it was in the
So
minimum.
it's still but it's still worded in
The shoreline zone stays
Yeah.
25 feet.
Okay. And so the minimum lot was supposed to, mimic that?
We didn't even look at the minimum lot.
Okay,
Yeah, that
okay,
is the problem, I think.
yeah.
But I would think being a greater distance from the lake trumps being further from the road.
We agree, and that was our original proposal.
I agree with that.
Um,
You continue on that until you're finished, but I've got another concern separate from what's going on now.
So we, let's talk about it a little bit. So if, right now, it's set up where you're gonna be more than 25 feet away from the road?
50.
50. So if it is 25 feet, you can actually go back further and make the building bigger.
They don't, they're happy with the size of the building, this meets what they need to do, they
Well,
don't,
I'm
they
just pointing
don't.
that out,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that,
okay?
but so the original, and I think you have the original plan. We had the whole house behind the 75-foot mark, and we were
We were 37
37 feet
from
from
the edge of the road.
edge of the roadway, so we were, it was
42.
really done quite well, I think.
I'd rather see that.
So. We agree. I just don't know how to get there.
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fitting this into the shoreline zone and onto this lot, I agree. I just legally, I think Hans might be right. That the more stringent of the two ordinances applies, even though we've never applied it before. At least not that I'm aware of.
Well, it's more stringent as far as being away from the road, but what's more stringent, the shoreline zone, trying to push everything back as far as the practical extent.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I
kind of
mean, so you've
subjective.
got a wash right there, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, so which one do we pick?
Yeah,
And I'd rather see it further from the lake. Because we've already changed, so we have to do some housekeeping and change the minimum lot size.
yeah, I think we need to do that regardless, but
Yeah,
yeah, no, I understand your point. You're right, it is, it better protects the lake, it better, better meets the standards of the ordinance, of the shoreline zoning ordinance. I just.
I would think the shoreline zoning ordinance is the top of it.
Rich, do you have any thoughts about that?
No, not so much. I've been thinking about the issue I had more than listening to what you guys were talking about, like that.
Sorry.
Better to be further away from the water or further away from the street, private road.
I would say further away from the water.
Yeah.
So, I'm missing this thing, what is the goal of keeping it, far away from the road?
Well, we used to have twice the height. Plus some, I think.
That was a rule from the road.
Yeah.
So, but what
years
was the
ago,
purpose of that?
It was so if it caught on fire, it went flop in the road.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that's something, that's a question for the fire chief, not for us,
Well, we've already changed it in the shoreline zone, we've already changed it.
okay?
So we didn't deal with the minimum lot size, we only did the shoreline zone. So now it's, the law says which one's the greater. More strict. Well, I would think shoreline
Shoreline
zone would be
zone
more
is-
strict than
yes.
right away.
I would agree with that too.
So that's up to judgment, I would say, from the planning board here.
Yeah, well, that's 100% subjective. Either way, you're conflicted.
So if we go that way, we're gonna have to move the structure
Back
all the
Well,
way
that's their
to.
to the
original plan.
original.
They moved it forward because of that 50-foot. Twice the height of the building.
No, kind of up to the applicant what they want to do.
Well, they would like the original back at 75 feet.
Yeah, we'd like to do 75, the way the land is shaped, it kind of creates a conflict, because there's a ridge at like 30 feet that kind of stop the water from going into it. So,
And there lies another thing
Yeah,
for us to go with.
well, it also solves a problem. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but maybe I got wrong end of the stick here, but if the building projects into the 75-foot zone from the normal high water, I believe it is too high to be in that zone, too tall. The maximum height is too tall. The maximum height is 20 feet.
We have, the existing building is 25.
Oh, the existing building is
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
That
that's
changed,
why, that's why we stayed right at that.
Okay,
number.
that changes
And you'll see the elevation.
okay,
Of
all right,
Their spot on to that.
okay, all right. I didn't appreciate that.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
What's that much? And I have a bigger concern, more serious concern than the issue of whether you're this much from the road or whatever, and that is twice we've had this situation before. One of them involved the fellow who was, either, I can't remember whether he was handicapped or we wanted to build this was on, I think, on Salmon Lake.
Yeah, the guy from Skowhegan.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the fact is that when you tear down a building closer than 75 feet from the water, you have to move that building, the size of that building, back as far as it'll go. Then you figure out how much you can expand. There's no, if you can put 7, whatever the square footage is of that building, 68 feet, 768 feet back, even at 100 feet. Then that has to go there, and then you then you determine how much can you build on to that structure. It may only be sideways, but it's clear to me, looking at the picture, that that structure could be built back further than the water, further from the water, further than 75 feet. And then you determine what you can expand beyond that.
Isn't it 1,500 and from 75, 1,500 square feet?
You're allowed 1,500 square feet,
Right.
but it's, because your building is being torn down,
Mm-hmm.
you
You have to roll
you
it.
have to move that back to the greatest practical extent. If you can get 1,500 square feet in there without going closer to the water than that 745 square foot that you move back, as you could expand sideways, laterally, whatever. But you can't go closer to the water if you can get the building back, the new building back
Right,
90 feet or whatever.
which is what I think we did with that building. That's why it's shaped that way. I think that's what was our goal.
Yeah, the building
Is that, okay, I will give you I remember this application that Mr. Baker is, talking about. I remember very vividly, is that this person that wanted to do this, he wanted to retire there, he was handicapped, and there, in the law, there was a series of constraints with electrical wires and the septic and whatnot, and so the concept is that if we're taking down that structure completely, the new structure that you're gonna build, you gotta imagine it as being as a Lego piece in your lot, and you gotta move it to the farthest you can move to the back. So there, for instance, we had a situation where the quarters were tight, there was a road in the back and there was a burn in the back. And we took that piece that was almost basically right in the water, and it was gonna be turned down. You use it as a Lego piece, you imagine a Lego piece, so the only practical stand was to move it back to where the burn was. It couldn't be moved back farther than that, because the topology of the land didn't allow that structure to move back than that. So we had to do the same kind of ruling with this gentleman, and it was a very tough application because he happened to be part of the planning board in Skowhegan as well. And
So,
but that's what the ordinance calls.
Well, and the other
Same
thing-
occurred on the same issue on one, where, Elliott Thayer, so we went down and looked at it, and they moved the structure back, and we let them end up, at the time, we got kind of dinged by DEP for not having that structure, whatever the size it was, go back as far as extent
You
the
could, yeah,
we gotta put a deck on the front, and. Going park that all over me.
The other thing is, we actually received written guidance from Colin Clark to this on this very issue, that the way you have to proceed is first ask the question, how far can it be back to be moved to the greatest practical extent? And then only, as Rich said, do you talk about, can the proposed expansion, is that acceptable? Whether regardless of, which way it goes, sideways or, otherwise, so, yeah.
I would suggest a site visit. Of this
But I
place.
mean, the road is parallel with the water and they're going back as far as they possibly can to the road.
Well,
Yeah.
that might very well be, yeah, I mean, I have actually, rightly or wrongly, I had jumped to the conclusion that if they would move back another 25 feet. That might be as far as they can go.
I think that's just another. Point that the first plan sounds better, because
Yeah.
that's something's going back as far as it can to the street. The street's parallel with the water, so. Left to right doesn't matter, it's, we're having to make an exception, because it's gonna be too close to the street, so we can't, there's no way it can go back any further.
But that was a question I had, is where, where is the 25-foot setback from the side of the road, which is part of the shoreline zoning, in relationship to if the house was moved back, beyond the 75-foot, kind of hard to tell from the drawing, but.
Yeah, it would end up being very similar to the 75 feet back. We might move it back a few more feet, we have to look. Mainly, I did all this little drawing that was the layout, but. It's because of the well where it is, and then when you move 25 feet from the edge of the road. The garage corner is the first and the other corner, so we'd have to look at it and have to rotate it just to make.
Where is the well on the, is that an existing well?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the right side, 10 feet from the property line.
The house is being built parallel with the water,
Yeah.
For the most part,
and
yes.
the street's pretty much parallel to
Yeah,
the
it's,
water.
it's off.
10 degrees.
Off fuel.
10 degrees.
Oh, I see it, now I see it on this revised.
And it might get back to 78 feet or like, but, they definitely get back.
Yeah, no, I missed that, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, where's the telephone line? So you're saying you might be able to shift this way, touch.
And I could overlay the existing, that cabin model too, I could overlay the existing cabin.
Does this incline or decline over here?
It's
all
a
pretty
very
flat.
gradual, very gradual slope.
So you're saying you'd maybe shift it to the west a touch?
Because of the well location, and probably just towards the road a touch.
Which way is north, south?
North this way.
This way, towards the septic field, towards leach field.
That's north.
Okay. I thought, so, yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's pretty, yeah, it's not a big difference, but.
yeah, the survey would tell you.
I mean, I
Survey map shows
Left
it.
on the print, you go left a little bit. On the print.
I do agree with Sarah that I think, as in other cases where the issue of gonna be moved back to further, or what is moving it back to the greatest practical extent is at play. A site visit probably is gonna be in order. But I think we need to work our way through with what we got first.
How wide is that existing building? What's this depth, 3?
The garage is 30. The overall is 56.
Oh, they start existing.
Oh.
Existing. Oh. I don't know if there's dimensions. I have them in pad and don't pick them up. I believe we're right at. With the bathroom back, 6 stuff. It might be 32 total height, depth. And width is, 24 plus the fourth. Adding the porch. probably about 30 then. So it's 30. If you drew a rectangle around the outskirts, it'd be close to a 30 by 30. Oh, I do have something to look at. My wife pulled it out of my.
They're very tech savvy.
Yeah, I was right, 6 feet plus 16.2, it's 30 wide. And it's. It's 36, it's 36 deep. Is that, no, 36 wide, I'm sorry, I look at it, wrong. 36 wide, 30 deep, that's what it is,
30 feet deep, you said.
30 feet deep.
So if we moved it back to 25 feet from the road, it would still touch into the 75 foot back setback where they're still allowed, what, 1,500 square feet?
It would look,
We'd be well behind 75.
yeah, it would take up the garage, the right side of the house area on the right, and it would extend a little bit to the left, and then we would expand to the left side if you wanted to put it in.
This is the original plan,
No, this is what we revised based on
yeah.
getting the fifth, I can show.
Yeah.
So here, this is the center of the road.
Yeah, no, I get all that, I'm saying, what the original,
So we had this right there.
yeah,
Right on the line.
30 feet.
yeah, so you'd be going into the 52 touch, you'd be going into this 50.
Yeah, this one comes out
Yeah.
to 36.
Yeah.
I think it was 36. So, which I think is.
It's gonna look insane.
I'll just state my comment one more time, and, is, I'm not sure it's being looked at, and that is whether or not that original structure can be set back any further if it were rebuilt. And then you allow the expansion laterally. If you're looking at the numbers, I have a hard time thinking that that structure that is being torn down couldn't be set back more than 75 feet from the water. And if that were the case, if we were looking at this as just, we're rebuilding this building,
Mhm,
that's the first thing you look at.
mhm,
Can you get back, how far can you get back?
right,
Then you expand it, not anymore towards the
front,
water, but
yeah.
wherever you can
On
expand it the other way. And I'll leave it at that.
It sounds like their original plan is where that's what they're doing,
That was-
beyond
yeah.
75 feet to 1,500 square foot, under 1,500
That
square
was
foot.
what it was originally based on.
And it's as far back, we're gonna have to make an exception, because it's gonna be, you know, in closer to the street. Not doubled up the width of the house, so it's gonna be like 30 feet, it's supposed to be 50.
You can't make them build a 10 by 50 freaking house, because that's not practical, and that's not even feasible. So just because you can fit a 10 by 50 across there, we can't make them do that. That's not a usable house, not usable.
what I think what Mr. Baker said is that you take the length, the deep of that building. And as I said, you create a Lego of that structure.
And it's
If I could-
30
I could have
don't
called-
forget, it's 36 feet deep. We can't go any closer than 25 feet to the road. So that's gonna put us in the 75 foot setback regardless. And you're allowed 1,500 square feet.
Yeah, it's at the first plan it sounds good.
Well,
That's exactly what we did. The first one's 30 feet.
Mhm.
And this building is 30 feet at its longest point. The garage is 30 feet, the rest of it's 24. And so that's exactly what we did, and then we did expand laterally, not towards the water. And so, and the other thing that's in play here, I mean, obviously, you know, everyone's goal here is for this to promote better water quality and create a lake that's here for our grandkids, you know. I think taking that building that's 20 feet away from the water is a pretty important part of this plan, as well as these sheds.
I agree.
I agree, and the alternative is just leave it where it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
mean, yeah, this is the current plan two.
Yeah, it'll suffice for my purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was just curious, what's the scale of this? Or,
Yeah,
One more.
that one you have a picture of the original.
We want to see the original.
Oh,
cabin.
right.
That's-
well, I was trying to test the theory that, that if we moved. Yeah, I was trying to test the theory. We took your 30 by 36 existing camp and moved it 25 feet from the edge of the road, where would it be in relationship to the?
It would be right. here.
Next to, yeah.
It would be right here.
Yeah.
And then we would
So it would-
stand in the
15
narrow
feet
point,
back
the
from there.
24 feet, we would stand the same distance away, so we'd be. Somewhere behind the 75 foot, I'd have to look at it, but I didn't realize like.
Yeah, because that's the question Rich is asking. Rich is asking the question of if we move that, and correct me if I got this wrong, Rich, if we. Approach this the way DEP is recommending that we approach it. Go through the exercise of moving the existing camp to the maximum extent possible, assuming there's nothing, no rocks the size of Volkswagens or anything like that, in the way, the closest you can get to the road is 25 feet to the edge. 25, you add another 30 feet to that, you can, be 55 feet from the edge of the road to the front of the existing
60,
cabin.
that's 60. 25 for 35 is 60.
Yeah, right, excuse me, and,
And so that, we trace that line, the 60, the line where the 60 feet is from the road. And from there back, you can build. From the 60 feet, line, 65 feet line.
Moving into 75.
Well, I mean.
well, no,
It'd be 30 plus.
yeah.
30. But you're right, it would work out.
The current structure is 36 feet deep, right?
36 feet wide, 30 deep.
Oh,
It's
30.
the same, it's identical depth.
So you're saying go to 25 plus 30, so 55, and then build wide? That what you're saying?
Well, I was just trying to assess where. The proposed location, your original proposed location is in relationship to 60 feet from the edge of the road.
Yeah, it was 37 before, so it's.
And
it would be 12 feet.
the new structure's how deep?
30.
So it's the same. So 30.
Same.
So if you're saying if we measure 25 feet off from the road and put the back of the house there, 30 feet in, because the current house is 30.
Right, that would be the front.
The front also have to be,
That's the
the front of the new
Yeah,
structure
so
have to be at the 55 mark from the road.
it'd be 12 feet back.
And then from their back, they can build. Is that right?
Well, they build the houses, the new house and the existing camp are both 30 feet deep. So if you push that, the back of the house to the 25 foot mark,
Mhm.
so 55 feet from the road would be the front of the house.
That's right,
And then they can go as wide as they.
That's right.
Under 15.
that's right.
So then we're still meeting the road. Line.
Yeah,
Yeah, because obviously you can't. Go into that 25 foot buffer,
But then, on the other hand,
setback rather.
But if they do that, then you in the 75 feet though.
if we go to the minimum lot size distance, then they can put it back up here, and they can expand right across their lot.
Yeah.
To their maximum amount, so which do we wanna go with now?
well, you were the one who brought this argument about going with
Well,
Inland
now
South.
someone else wants to bring a different argument that prevents them from doing it. So now we have two ordinances. And now I'm gonna switch because. Either way, it's better here. And this DEP thing that Rich keeps bringing up is asphalt. And the way it works, so. We either bed the lake or let it be.
So what are the requirements of the minimum lot size again? So we already know with the shoreline
50 feet.
zone where we have.
So that's gonna put us into the 75, inside of the 75 foot mark. And they can expand from 15 feet from one side, but
But again,
15 feet from the
we-
top, 10 in Belgrade, it's 15 in Rome. So we can go, they could span that whole thing
so we have
if
to
they
go with
wanted to. Well, up to their square footage allowance.
so we have two ways to go about this, the minimum lot size. Or the applying all the force of the shoreline zone. So which one is the more stringent? Is the shoreline zone,
Again, that's
lot.
arbitrary,
Minimum lot size.
but I think we're accomplishing, Doug's accomplishing, Spalding accomplishing what Rich is concerned about.
In the first,
They're taking the 30 foot footprint, they're putting it back as far as they can, because the new structure is 30 feet, just like the original. And then they go sideways.
no,
how far is the road?
it goes beyond that, it have to be, the face of the new structure have to start at the 60-foot set mark from the road.
From the road to 75 foot.
It depends on what spot you pick.
Yeah.
So if you pick here,
Yeah.
you see what it does,
Yeah.
a lot less here, and so. That's why we went over this side.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a very reasonable.
I think the first plan is. You let him tear the house down, sell the land to your trust, and the trust can build whatever they want.
Well, I mean,
This is
we've
the
already,
first plan.
I think, have a consensus that
That's the first plan. Yeah.
that the shoreline zoning ordinance is more stringent with regard to the issue of,
Yeah,
the
so
road
33 feet
setback.
back from the road.
Um,
Is that? I don't think that's.
What you're
I think
saying, I
it's the
think is
minimum lot
that
size, isn't it?
It's
yeah,
gonna be,
minimum lot size.
instead you
Yeah.
be 33, 25.
More, that the
That's
But it
shoreline,
really should be driven
And
the other
all
way.
that land is
The
flat.
shoreline zone should really.
Time to move it back.
I agree,
Yeah.
but,
I think that, what Rich, so what you're saying is right, this is their first plan, right? The back of the house is 33 foot from the road, so what you're saying is take that house and move it back so that it's 25 and not 33. So move it back another 8 feet, because then you're as far back as you possibly can be. That's the minimum.
As long as you're not violating some other portion of the ordinance, that whatever, get it back as far as it goes. If the existing house is 30 feet that they're tearing,
Yeah.
the other,
The new
treat
structure.
this new one as being 30 feet for determining
Yeah.
the greatest.
That's what they're doing, it's gonna be 30 feet.
If that's 30 feet,
Yeah, I think technically if you move that back 8 feet. Now you're 25 foot from the road instead of 33, you're as far back as you can go, you can't get any closer to 25 feet. So if you just shift the house and move it back 8 feet, then that'd be as far back as you, but as long as the land is flat and it's not, impractical.
Where's the power line?
On the other side of the road. Would you mind reading the wording as far as the. Moving it back to the most practical
Yeah.
extent,
Yeah.
that,
You got your ordinance, I don't have mine. Exactly.
Now, if it interferes with like your leach field or, then that's.
well, I mean, it just seems like there's a little bit of judgment there.
There is.
Oh,
And I feel like to have a driveway where they could drive their cars in, I mean, I think we made a very modest and reasonable plan that protects the lake.
Yeah.
Meets our square footage setbacks in the different zones. And gives someone that wants to be a resident of this town.
Yeah.
A decent home.
Right.
As determined by the planning board.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah,
So,
We
So,
have to go by the ordinance. We have to go by the ordinance.
so, this is on page 14 and it has to do with the reconstruction or replacement of a non-conforming structure. And it reads, any non-conforming structure which is located less than the required setback from a water body, i.e. 100 feet. Tributary stream or wetland, which is 75 feet, and which is removed or damaged or destroyed regardless of cause by more than 50% of the market value. may be reconstructed or replaced, provided that a permit is obtained within 18 months of the date of said damage, destruction, or removal, and is provided that such reconstruction or removal and provide, is in compliance with the water body, tributary stream, or wetland setback requirement to the greatest practical extent as determined by the planning board. In accordance with the purposes of this ordinance. And I believe greatest practical extent is defined.
It is.
If I recall correctly. Find it quickly. And not that it makes it 100% clear, but since we're reading. So. Or is it, which is it defined, is it different? I don't find it in mine.
In the definition.
Yeah,
I don't think it's in the definitions, it's within the ordinance itself where it talks about considering things such as
yeah,
the septic systems and height of the slope of the land. It's, I agree, it's somewhat of a general determination, but there are some criteria that's supposed to be looked at.
okay, I'm sorry, it's on the next page, there's a paragraph in that same section at the end. In determining whether the building reconstruction or replacement meets the setback to the greatest practical extent, the planning board shall consider, in addition to the criteria above, the physical condition and type of foundation present, if any, and the references to section 12C.
You consider pine trees as far as
Yes, I mean, we have when they're monsters.
they're on the left side, that's why I'm thinking, you know, I had it at 13 feet. But if we move it back, we might want to shift it away from the pine trees on the left side, there's two. That would,
That's impractical.
that way it avoid,
Okay, here's
but they're right on the line, they're right on the line there,
here's the other piece in the daisy chain. In determining whether the building relocation meets the setback to the greatest practical extent, the planning board shall consider the size of the lot, slope of the land, the potential for soil erosion, the location of other structures on the property and on adjacent properties, the location of the septic system and other on-site soil suitable for septic systems, and the type and amount of vegetation to be removed to accomplish the relocation.
I don't know, I think that greatest practical extent is not as severe as we've been done.
Yeah, I don't think that answers the question really.
No,
Right, not the way it's worded here anyway.
yeah,
To the closest, so they can get to the road.
yeah.
Usually.
But is that, but is that practical, to, you know, to lose 8 feet of driveway? That's, you know, have a short driveway, you sitting as close as you can to the road.
Well, no removal, stuff like that, you know, you gotta have.
Do you remember when we did the application at, what's the name of the lady? She has a brother here in the grade 1, 2, Takor. We had the same rehash. They always, every single time we had this kind of application that we had to demolish the structure and build it on. This practical STEM thing always get us going. But we visit the site. And right there, then it was easy to determine. Because we had the conscience of the ordinance, but then when we got there, we can see what's going on with the landscape and so on. The vicinity of all the camps, we discussed that right there. We settled it right off. So, I think it will be appropriate to go through the application to make sure that it's all complete. And maybe after a site visit, we can wrap it up. your application is very strong. And I don't want you to be discouraged because this happened every single time that we have an application where we have to decide on the most practical steps to locate the new structure. And it's gonna be solved in the most favorable way for your new construction. All right? I will assure you that.
So Sarah, I think what I would suggest is that I stake out the building based on the original plan. At the
Okay.
75, which is what I think is reasonable, given the depth of the current home, and what we did and how we expanded. And that way you can come to the site.
At the end of the day,
And I can spray the exact footprint.
Or even if you just mark the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
you know, we're improving, we're getting further from the water.
Huge.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
Definitely.
this whole project.
Which is, that's our whole goal.
Yeah.
It's shoreline, we're
But
trying. to protect
I
it.
also, will plead with you, so you understand that we have to do the same kind of, make the same kind of decision and make it even for everybody.
Because if we force them to do something they don't wanna do, they say, all right, well, we're not building, we're gonna stay, 12 feet from the water. So then, who wins and who
But
loses?
then, once they start building, we have neighbors that,
Yeah, like neighbors.
that will have issues as well, so.
Legally, because of that, we're practical, we could never be at fault legally, because it's subjective. So if 3 people vote in favor, then that's it, I don't think we're open to any litigation because of the word practical. That was a determination made by the majority of the board, and that's.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but I think for the record, if the board does all we have in our hands to be able to make the best decision we can, then we are also clean. So that's what I'm trying to do. Thank you. So, with that said, I'm going to proceed to read the application and, make sure that we have all the information we need. And then at the next meeting, we will, go through the finding of facts. So that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
And then before we end, we wrap up today, we will decide on a date to go and do the site visit. Right, so, the location we already expressed, that is in 66 Pine Beach Road, map 42, lot 9. The current use of the property is residential. The proposed construction or change use is to remove an existing 68 square feet home at a 25 feet from the high water mark and construct a new 1,488 square feet home at 75 feet setback from the high water mark. Existing sewage disposal system types and capacity is a system to be replaced. See the attached, presently there's 2 rooms, and the rooms to be added in the application is 1. The total area of the lot is 16,117 square feet. And the lot area within the shoreline zone is same number. Total number of structures on the lot is 3. And the site plan to scale must be accompanied, which is included. Other than that, the present square footage is, as I said, 768, and the proposed square footage is 16.
That should actually be 1488, Sarah.
Thank you, I was gonna say that. So, other than that, do we have any other questions from the board? Check this, stuff in here. Any comments from the CEO?
I have sorry.
Oh, sorry,
No,
I have a couple relatively minor questions. One, well, I guess it's minor. Did the application form change? It seems like there's questions missing on the front page.
yes, it did.
Oh, when did that happen?
This is the first time we're saying it. So.
Don't we need to approve that as a board?
Well, I don't think the board approved this application, it's not part of the ordinance, right?
We approve all our other administrative forms.
So what we did is there was a lot of confusion from all the other applications we get as to the shoreline zone question. So you'll see question 7 says if any complete shoreline zone worksheet. All your shoreline zone questions are in one place now.
Yeah, no, and I like that. I'm just saying administratively, every other form we have requires board approval. That's not, you don't have the authority to do that on.
It's not the ordinance, so I did it.
I disagree. I mean,
I will say the form.
on our own
I will say-
agenda,
I will say the form you created is super helpful, and really organized.
yeah, no, I don't disagree. This is an internal administrative matter. And a matter of consistency, even on our own agenda tonight, we got forms that the board's gonna be discussing for other ordinances. And the board's gonna make a decision about, not the code enforcement officer.
Yeah.
Hard surface is the same as unvegetated, because the ordinance uses the term vegetated, unvegetated, and vegetated.
Yes.
Okay. I just happened to notice, that the, 2 sheds weren't included in that calculation, but it doesn't make any difference in terms of the 20% rule. And then, the other question for you, Hans, is, we have, the paperwork, the application for a variance from, I don't know if it's from DHHS or for you, but has that been approved? Because this is an unsigned copy and
No, it's not been submitted yet.
it has not been submitted yet. I'm not sure we can approve this, until it's approved, can we?
What are you referring to, George?
The variance request for this subsurface wastewater system. See,
Robert
I
Gilpin.
believe these are all local variances, which. Doesn't need state approval.
Yeah. Proximity to the well.
Yeah, these are all local,
Yeah.
so I approve them.
oh, so you
Yeah.
approve them, and
It's
then,
just a matter, we didn't process this, they didn't pay for it yet, but.
okay,
This is
all right, all right, because I believe the ordinance says that for the planning board to approve the permit, we first have to have the septic system application approved, in this case, a variance approved.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Tomorrow.
So we're gonna need that approval before, finishing the application and going to final fact.
Yeah. Actually, the copy we have, you folks haven't even signed. Feeling signatures paid.
Right, what else we're missing here then, besides that? We're missing the, site visit, the, variance request, being completed and approved.
New set of prints.
New set of prints,
No, I think. Yeah.
so with those 3, items, being surfaced, then, can we agree to table the application?
Thanks, so.
And I will entertain a motion for that.
Make a motion that we table the motions, table the application
Site visit,
until when?
site visit, variance request, approval, and new prints are available.
Yeah, second,
Okay, so, going about the site visit, can we open our calendars for a minute here? And see where we can do this?
Sarah, would we be able to be on the August 7th agenda?
I think so.
Okay.
It will be the same 2 applications unless we already have, we schedule anybody for that date?
Yeah, we got books, but this is gonna be so quick.
Yeah.
And put them first and let them stay right now.
Same with Camp Modi. Okay, that's great. So, I'm very open, tomorrow's not a good day, but I'm very open next week. And we only need 3 people to go. Well, actually, well, yeah, well, yes, but then only,
I'm flexible.
you're flexible,
Fridays work best for me, but
Fridays work best for you. Just you,
I can make an exception.
so if
I'm
you,
not sure. I do have some appointments already, medical appointments, but
you
I
suggested.
think it's late in the week.
Can you do it tomorrow?
No, getting an appointment. Appointments.
I'm gonna be away.
Yeah, and if you did it tomorrow, less than 3 people would have to go because you have to give public notice if it's 3 people.
Okay. So how about next Friday? Next Friday,
Yeah, I'm good.
What's
Yeah,
that?
what,
you guys pick it. You to work
At 4:30.
4:30,
Need to have,
I'd like to be there and I'm not available.
Next Friday.
Thursday and Friday. and Fourth.
Well, I can make an exception. You wanna do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, whatever. You're saying you're free, George, in the beginning?
early part of the week, I believe.
Yeah, all right.
what about Monday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay, Tuesday, what time?
Sarah,
4:30, I can, any
Tuesday's
4:30 or later.
4:30 or later, Tuesday, Peter,
Yeah,
4:30.
4:30, Tuesday,
Tuesday,
so we're
4:30.
meeting at 4:30, we're gonna be there. All right,
You ready with Bella?
Thank you.
On Peter and you, Sarah and George.
Yeah,
So what's the thing about putting out a notice? What do we have to do with that?
no, well, the notice is it's only 3 people, but I'm going, we have 4, let's go.
yeah, I mean, if the notice goes out tomorrow, then it'll be fine.
Who does that?
Well, it's just like it's a meeting. The meeting is the
Put it on
plan.
the website.
Yeah,
We're gonna have more than 3 people though, no?
yeah, that's fine. It's,
If he puts it on the website tomorrow, then we're covered.
yeah, right.
So it's open to the public, is that what that is, or?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
public notice.
Like the neighbors.
It's a state law. You,
Serve some hot dogs.
I second that motion,
all right, so, we're gonna vote, Mr. Sakara,
yes.
Mr. Surgeon,
yes.
Mr. Shield,
Yes,
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
and Mr. Longet, that's 5 yes, no, 0 no's, and we table the application. Thank you so much.
Good.
I appreciate your patience through the, entertaining, discussion time.
Or if you want me to call him, maybe.
Do you want them to sign that application?
no, I mean, if Hans is gonna take care of finalizing it, I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
next time
a
you.
question of it being, approved.
this one here.
You saw it,
Yeah.
DJ, so
Yeah.
that's good enough.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, welcome. Next item on agenda, item C. And we have the, Belgrade Lakes and Natural Resource Committee. This is related to our shoreline zone ordinance proposal. So there's gonna be a presentation. So with that, give the floor to the, committee.
Okay, so I doubt anybody else wants to volunteer, so I'll go forward. So, we sent this to you, I don't want to read through it, but, I get, the feedback on the process questions. Questions everybody's letter.
I wasn't able to read it because it come in this document, I couldn't open it.
What was that?
I wasn't able to read it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because
Okay.
it came in an office document, and I couldn't open it.
Oh,
So,
Can you briefly give the highlights of,
okay. I mean, you're familiar with our mission, because we've been before you before, we think that, and we prioritize the changes that we think are relevant for the shoreline zoning ordinance and a buffer to inhibit runoff would be what we think to be the most important thing currently on our agenda. So this is an effort to create a vegetative buffer along the shoreline. I mean, I really, I'm not sure, I'm not sure I feel comfortable proceeding if you guys haven't read this thing. We sent it a week ago, and I don't know why you wouldn't have it, because.
oh, I had it, when it came in this document, and I couldn't open it, I wanted to read it.
Peter, you wanna say something?
Yeah, as far as, other people, this is Zoom meeting, people maybe have chimed in, want to listen to this particular issue, I don't know if that's the case. If it is, if someone's chimed in on Zoom, waiting to hear what's to be said about this, all right? It should be read to the fullest extent for to the other people in the audience. Are there any other Zoom, are there any other people here at the meeting besides us? Do we have any Zoom people?
Yeah.
Kimberly.
She's the committee.
She's on the committee, so just Kimberly Dallas
But
is.
there's people that are gonna watch the recording tomorrow.
Right.
That's right.
Oh, they are.
This is Kimberly Dallas. I'm part of the committee, the Lakes and Natural Resources. I'm not there because I've broken my ankle, so I'm just attending via Zoom.
Okay, I'm sorry, let me expand upon that. If the minutes are gonna be read by people, the public, is that right, tomorrow?
There could be some people
Watch the video,
watch
yeah.
that on YouTube, they watch it after the fact, because they've got time with their families.
Okay, if that's the
This
case,
is tomorrow.
then it's a 7-page document, so it should be read here at this meeting here now, so. People who wish to listen to it tomorrow or whatever, they can understand what's being discussed.
Now,
That's my point.
okay, and well taken, I will say something. This document is in the, packet,
It's in the packet.
all right?
Yes.
So people that would like to read it on their own can do that. It's right in the website,
It's on the planning board page,
on the planning board page,
under the agenda
all right?
for today's date.
Great, so, I understand Mr. Bradley's, concern and, where he's going with this. From my take, when I read here, it says, shoreline sign ordinance proposal presentation. I'm thinking that the group is gonna be speaking to us,
Oh.
right? So not all of us usually are completely prepared. I myself, because we have gone through this before, kind of skim very quickly over it, but I know that there are areas that have been worked further. And you have been doing, more stronger dialogue, I think with DEP and so on. So for the benefit, at least of the audience, and those that have not been able to read it completely, if you kindly go over the highlights of it, or whoever is more in tune with the document will do that, that'd be very helpful.
Yeah, okay, so.
I think the first paragraph says it all.
And
then the rest.
yeah, I can read that. When a property has a lawn running down to a water body without a buffer, and the property owner is seeking a permit from the town of Belgrade, the town will in turn require that the owner establish a recovery buffer along the shoreline between any principal structures, the water body, tributary, stream, or wetland. The recovery buffer shall have a minimum width of 30 feet or 30% of the distance between the principal structure and the water body, tributary, stream, or wetland, whichever is smaller. recovery buffer is defined as an area adjacent to a protected resource which may be trimmed or cut no more than once each year to a height of no less than 8 inches. When a property is required by the town to establish a recovery buffer, that requirement will be recorded in the registry of deeds. So, this is how the town, the city of Auburn approaches, compliance with grandfathered properties, non-conforming properties that, where somebody wants a permit. In return, they ask for, or they require, a buffer, in this case, a buffer. What we're trying to establish is an opportunity where somebody comes in for a permit, then, they may be required to, in return for that permit, to establish a buffer along the shoreline. We had, Colin Clark review this, and his, comments are on page 2 in here, an email, and it's kind of pasted his email, saying that he, thinks that this would be, would comply. And we had, Cameron Ferrante, a partner at, Pretty Flaherty in Portland, write the ordinance language, for you to consider. So, I mean, I feel like we we're best foot forward, trying to come up with something that would protect the lake.
I think it's a simple ask for the planning board to want to educate anybody that comes here for a permit.
And this would go into the section of the ordinance, the performance standards that deal with erosion and sediment control, right?
Yes. Section 15S14.
Yeah.
Talks a lot about septic systems too. I was wondering, like, do you guys have any research on buffer zones? What are more efficient than others? What would, a definition of a buffer zone be? I like the idea
We
of it.
do, and we started out, the original ask by the DEP is a full buffer, which
Yeah.
has 5 layers,
Yeah.
canopy in the middle.
Yeah.
This is a very simple ask. This is allowing people to cut so that we know that people are concerned about being able to have a view of their lake. So this is an extreme compromise. What it does though is allow plants to grow in the earth.
Mhm.
And those roots is what protects
Mhm.
the lake from the erosion that comes from the rain that runs down and collects phosphorus.
So, to your point, on the, second to last page, we referenced the buffer handbook, a guide to creating vegetative buffers for lakefront properties. Put out by the Andrew Scoggin Valley Soil and Water Conservation District. So and there's a link to that, online, where you can find that, that reference.
How will it be applied? If we look at what we just, your last applicant, they need a permit from the town to get a bigger structure and move it. Just say that was a lawn all the way to the lake, that's how this would get applied.
No, I
That's the
understand, yeah.
This goes
Yeah,
with this.
I
They have to,
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's a definition of, like,
There is.
a specific
This is
definition.
the
of what-
simple.
It
Yeah.
is, this is,
I mean, I like
Bare
it even,
minimum.
I like it even aesthetically, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I said, I like it aesthetically as well, just so that when you're on the water, everything looks like woods and you're not just seeing,
Right.
homes.
Like it's
So-
all you used to.
This would allow people to maintain the view. But,
Right,
I mean,
yeah, no, I know, I also don't wanna, people, that's people's land, that can,
It doesn't absolutely guarantee they have the full view. So can I read something?
Sure.
So if for some reason they did not cut it back longer than the 2 year, and the site reverts back to a woody vegetation, then they would no longer be able to cut it back any longer unless it was in compliance with cutting standards. So basically, they wanna put this in the deed. But yet they won't let you maintain it if there's a death in the family. And the property's being changed hands, and it takes longer than 2 years,
Yeah, now.
then now you lose your property.
I think that's a standard in the regular. Clearing standard, you know, if it goes longer than 2 years,
Right,
you lose your grandfather.
that's what we
Yeah,
had. to put that.
Why would we put this in there? I mean.
We're asking them, you know, they have to mow their lawn. So we're asking, you know, we're requiring that they don't mow that section. So, I mean, if they don't mow their lawn for years,
I think,
don't know.
I don't think the police are gonna show up. If it's
Yeah.
2 years and 1 month, it's just you have to have some standard.
Right, now, you're not, as I read this, the talks about establishing a buffer. That buffer can be, I'm simply not gonna mow the lawn anymore.
Exactly.
You don't have to.
We didn't
No
want,
lawn.
we didn't want to tell anybody what they had to put in, that's very expensive, but a lot of people don't understand how to plant the shoreline. So really, it's whatever comes up naturally.
So
Of course, you could do it, something else if you wanted to.
you referenced this last application, and this is their property. And it is open, I mean, they've got very little canopy as it is. And that was one of my concerns is, you know, when the house comes down, that has to be revegetated. That area that helps to establish more canopy, but as an example. If they move back to 75 feet, what would this buffer consist of with this rule we're applying?
so 75 feet is the distance between, so it would be 30% of that.
But if there's already a buffer there, then they have to add more buffer, like right there, that, it looks like all buffered to the water. I mean,
Right, so no, I mean,
So that one
and it would be,
Only if they have no.
right, only if it's a lawn running right down to.
This
to
is
the
long,
wall.
all this is long over here,
Right to the
Really
water.
understand.
these are shadows right here,
Oh, there's shadows.
shadows of trees.
But
This
there's,
is all
there's
long.
a bunch of trees right
Yeah.
along the shoreline now, right?
Well, this.
Well, which is the lot?
The house is 25 feet from the shoreline, so these trees are actually hanging over the lake.
And what is that, grass there?
Yeah, this is all grass.
Yeah.
So they don't have to do anything, basically.
Well, what, 30% from?
Well, 30%,
No,
They already have
a
30
buffer,
feet.
They already have trees growing.
Yeah, they already got 30 feet.
Yeah,
buffer.
that's not, you know, and I think it would be a judgment call of the planning board to, you know, take
Yeah.
a look at that and decide.
People should
whether-
be able to access the water, at least have some.
More site visits.
Well, they were allowed to have paths. and
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like enough buffer to me, you know what I mean?
Well, they got trees, there's 1, 2, 3 big trees over there.
It's got big roots.
But 30% is more than just what's on the shoreline. I mean, that's why I feel the grasp. The definition of what is your 30%, what is the buffer? The buffer you're saying is a no-mow zone,
Yes,
so everything's just gonna grow, except for their 6-foot-1 path.
they can cut it once a year to 8 inches.
So 30% or 30 feet.
so that, I got.
So if they go back 100 feet, they would need 30 feet.
So-
Uh, Adjacent to the water.
So if the rule is to cut it once a year to 8 feet down, who's gonna watch that? Who's gonna count the time and keep that on record?
Well, right,
I mean,
Who's gonna
This
enforce
is the
that?
rule, that's what we want.
it's a rule, and, you know, sometimes rules are enforced and sometimes they're not. I'm not, you know,
just like DEP
My kind of-
rules now.
yeah.
They're there and people abide by them and sometimes people don't. We try to keep on it and we want to establish a rule that people begin to understand the importance of a buffer. I mean, on one of our lakes, 51% of the properties are lawns. And
Messalonsky.
on Messalonsky and it's 51% of the cause of erosion because of that. So what we're trying to do is establish a law.
I perfectly understand the goal, but you gotta understand that once we place a rule, then we have to be, we have to own, so to speak, the enforcement, because how good are the rules if we cannot enforce them?
Oh, we don't
So,
enforce
well,
those.
We
I don't know. We
have
just-
to have some
I
rules.
mean,
Yeah.
there are rules against cutting, and are those being enforced? No. is
Well, but
chapter
then you see
1000
that- Okay, Mr. Bradley, I have the responsibility as a board
Right.
member here, that we're passing rules that we have pillars to be able to practically support the enforcement of that. We have before items that we're discussing with the CEO, and I said, oh my God, we're gonna have to create a full new department to enforce all that. So that said, I just trying to get my heads around the fact that we will have this rule, how will we practically enforce it? That's
Right.
all I'm asking. And what I'm hearing is that we don't have to enforce it,
No, I'm not,
We're not trying
I'm not trying to say that at all.
okay?
We're just saying, like any rule that you have a CEO. I don't think people are gonna go against this. I really don't.
You know, just like you had people come today, you're going to add this to it, and so you'll say to them, we want you to have a buffer. And they're gonna say, oh, look, we have these trees already, and you're gonna go and have a site visit. And you'll get to see exactly what their buffer looks like, and you wanna encourage that, that's really what you wanna do. As a Lake Smart person, I can't make anybody do anything, but I go and I explain to them the reason for this. And I just got a beautiful letter from somebody today, who's going to just put in an incredible buffer. As soon as she can, she's gonna, you know, it's expensive, we don't wanna make people do things they can't
So that
afford.
this then is more of a rule, is more of a statement to encourage that to happen.
But
No,
Just
no,
those
Sarah,
people that were here today, if you said, now you have to have a buffer,
Right.
you know that they would say yes to it. And so would their contractor,
Maybe
with that in
possibly
mind.
this person, but I have a real problem with it, because how do you force people that have all legal compliance to do what they have this piece of property, and they have a legal right to build up here and do whatever they want, put an addition on, but you're gonna force them to change their property to where it could ruin the value as far as, their views. And if there was a change in 2 years that they didn't cut it, then
If there's a change in 2 years, then they already will comply with chapter 1000, DEP will tell them that they can't cut it.
Right.
right, so,
Right, but then, but we enforcing it.
I mean, we don't want the.
but
planning
if you're
board to
mowing your lawn
encourage
down
them
there, it's
not
not
to
gonna
have
grow up
buffers
into a
along.
woody vegetation.
Quite frankly, if you don't do this, your property value is gonna go down.
No, that's
Because
not true,
it
that's
is
not
true,
true
you
at
should-
all.
Look
No,
what's
that's the
going on.
argument you guys are using, but
And
that's
I-
not true at all.
Finish,
Why do
when
you
I
think that
say,
that's not true?
So you're gonna take a view, $1 million view, and you're gonna throw trees in it if something happens between transitions.
How can
And
it
you're
happen if
forcing
they mow it
them.
every year?
You're not getting what I'm saying, are you?
Let's,
Well, I think we're
just-
There's properties that sit there idle for years between. Whether it be a death in the family, someone's not up there. And as soon as the woody vegetation goes up there, you can't cut it.
I think we need to tone down the temperature here a little bit, and keep this nice and civil. We're all residents of Belgrade. And I think we all want the same things for the lakes. This is just going over the top.
Yes, and again, this isn't en masse, everybody has to do, if they come in and they want a permit. It triggers it, it's not someone who's.
Right,
gonna
so you're
take this
forcing
thing
somebody to change their property
what,
to get a legal permit that they can legally get.
it doesn't. It's asking you to,
It's not asking, it's telling.
well,
It's telling.
It's
Yeah,
telling, it is
absolutely, no,
just like we're
absolutely.
telling people that they gotta move back from the lake, there's a reason that we're doing it. We're doing it to protect the earth, we're doing it to protect our environment, we're doing it to maintain our taxes, actually. Because many of the lakes where they're green Nobody wants to live on them.
Well, to me,
And look at how much money was spent, what was it on, you know, millions of dollars on the alum treatment on East Front. All those people had to, you know, it's real, it's not make-believe, it's
To
very,
me,
very real.
if someone's manicuring their lawn down to the lake and it's being maintained, there's no erosion. You have trees, you put trees on it, storms come in, they blow them over, you have big chunks of erosion everywhere.
And how do they keep the lakes, lawn green? How do they keep the lawn green? If they didn't fertilize the lawn, other things would grow up.
There,
No, that's not true, that's right off.
well,
Mrs. Bradley, put her hand up, you have a comment there?
We have 7 impaired lakes. And, I mean, my family's been on the lake since 1930. And I'd love to keep it the way it's always been, but it's not. And it's not because we have phosphorus emptying into our lakes, and it's coming from primarily lawns and unbuffered properties, and those are new. People didn't have lawns back in the day. We have woods, and we still have woods in our camps.
Have you seen any
We
historical
need
pictures?
to have buffers that protect the lakes from phosphorus. It's a given. It's
I would
the
agree.
reason we have impaired lakes right now.
So,
Grass is not a good buffer.
It is not a good
For
buffer.
phosphorus.
Thank you.
Phosphorus runs through lawns.
grass
Exactly.
is not a good buffer, and the way you
In
maintain
50
it.
years, people
adds
won't
to the
have
problem.
lawns. They won't.
so, I would like to say that this document as it is extremely dense and, great research. I know that there's been a lot of sweat and time placed into it. And I appreciate that the committee came over to present it today. As you can sense, there have to be more dialogue in the board to consider this. I'm not assuring that this is gonna pass, but I will assure you that we will have a discussion, and I think there needs to be a time to absorb the information, tinker with it. We have, this is a very strong board. We have people that are retired from the DEP in the board, 2 of them. And then we have 2 people that are contractors, and they deal with a lot of the practical sense of doing their job and around the area and in commercial stuff. And then we have a guy that is have been dealing with real estate, and then the knockhead and nerd of me into it. So that said, I will plead with you to give us some time to be able to wrap our heads around the requirements and constraint that are placed by this. The most shallow rule you can place to put in an effective buffer. And that's the way, when I read this, we have buffer in our piece of land in the lake, but the buffer is only like a foot thick. It's not 20 feet.
Mhm.
And it's not, by any stretch, it's not gonna be 30% of the lot, of the distance of the lot to any, we don't have any structure for that matter. So it'll be from the lot all the way to the road. So I cannot imagine putting 30% buffer in my lot, because it will come all over to the woody area, so the area that we don't have used.
Excuse me,
Sure.
sir, it's the least, the lowest of 30% or 30 feet.
Yeah.
So.
So what we do with a lot that has no structure? My lot has no structure, no building in it.
So you're not doing,
Are you asking for a permit?
No,
Then
Well, this is what requires for some,
Go with God, so,
yeah.
Yeah.
So can I,
Children ask for a permit. Sorry.
I'm sorry, oh, Mr. Chair.
I'd like to get a little clarification on the app. First off, I think this is a great step in the right direction, okay? The lack of buffers on existing lots is problematic. And as Rich has already said, you know, the lack of buffers does contribute to contribution is stormwater carrying phosphorus, whether or not there's soil erosion or not.
Right.
Let's, that's a given, okay, that we all know that water sampling's showing that, let's get past that. But in terms of the applicability and what your concept was, a key term that your attorney used is cleared area. And that could mean a lot of different things to different people. And let me give you an example. I believe you mentioned that over half of the parcels in Mesolonsky have lawns going down to the lakes. It's pretty rare we see an application where somebody has a lawn. What we more frequently have are lots that have a large overstory and pine needles.
Right.
So, we do occasionally get, we've had a couple on salmon that, have had lawns going down that I can recall in the last several years, but, and we also get, ones where, this would not really be a problem to comply with because they already have either left an existing buffer along the shoreline, or they have the diking created by the ice over many years along the shoreline, where the shoreline's actually higher in elevation than much of the rest of the lot. And so runoff is not going directly to the lake. It doesn't have far to go by via groundwater, but it isn't going directly to the lake. So how did you envision this applying to other than lawns?
The problem with that is that if you've got an overstory and duff and pine needles, I don't think we don't want to cause somebody to plant things in there, because that may create more erosion if they don't maintain the plants that they put in there. It also might impair their view, so we've been just trying to focus on the lawns.
And so
And
actually,
not to rape the pine needles. just to
Okay,
let the
so
pine-
this it may be a minor problem, but if that's the intent, then we probably should say lawns.
Okay, this is just.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have some other wording suggestions and changes and the like, and we're not gonna go into that tonight, but because obviously we need to get on the same page.
Right.
And we're clearly not anywhere close to it yet. But cleared area speaks to what's the scope of this? What does this apply to? And so that's kind of a bigger concept.
So when you visit these places for these permits that you're gonna give, so just keep this in mind. Well, if this went into effect, how would they?
But I think maybe
differently about it?
if you could think about this, and then we could come back another time and discuss it further.
There's no depth requirement, right? It's just 8-inch height and 30 feet or 30%.
30%, whichever is smaller than that.
Along the
And
wall.
there's no, it's 8 inches high.
8 inch high.
So see, a lawnmower is 3 to 4 inches, and bush hog, my bush hog, I can bush hog at 8 inches.
Once a year.
So-
When you say,
this took
you
us,
see the word depth.
this took us
No
months.
depth.
Of the buffer, like it has to go along the water, but how deep back, there's no
Oh,
requirements.
I thought we're referring to 30 feet deep.
Yeah, that's
You
the,
use width, and that confused me a little. too.
okay.
When say the width of 30 feet, I think of it as along the water, but it'd be better probably
Yeah.
use the term depth of the buffer.
Oh, so this is depth, so from the water back.
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
yeah, so.
I thought you were saying it has to be 30 feet or 30%, whichever is less, along the water.
Oh, no, it's, to be effective, it needs to run along the water, other than a path, that would.
So if somebody has a 100-foot back house, right?
You're right.
So then 30 feet would be 30 by 30 buffer?
Well, it would be 30 feet by the width of the lot. Along wherever the lawn is.
So if they have 100 feet wide of shoreline.
Right.
It would be 100 feet by 30 feet
Yes,
deep.
yeah,
Oh,
yes.
okay. I thought you were just saying 30 feet along the water, like a final stop, like.
No, it's 30 feet.
And I thought there was no depth requirement, like if they put plants all along, 8-inch plants all along the water. But you're saying it would have to go the width of the property and then 30 feet back.
Yes, yes, to effectively, mitigate the.
So that's just like a substantial amount.
Yeah, and if it does not cut, so this goes in the registry
Yeah.
of deeds.
Yeah.
So if it's not cut in 2 years, it reverts back to woods.
Yeah.
And so you lose
The value of the
that
property.
portion of your property.
Yeah.
And if you have a property within, you know, say 25 feet, a building within 25 feet, so. You know, they're gonna chew up a third, quarter of that.
Yeah, no, I
It's
didn't
gonna be-
realize that. I didn't
And
realize.
it's gonna be in the registry of deeds, so if you don't mow it in 2 years,
I was
then
thinking
you're losing.
just along the water, 30 feet along the water, or 30% of how.
You were thinking width, but it's from the high water mark back.
Yeah, oh, I thought it was just like if they put some plants in the front, like a final stop at the end.
So that's particularly that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I don't know how effective that, I mean, it would be better than nothing, but.
I mean, they're gonna have paths to use the lake. And we're not preventing them from using their property.
That we understand that, but the thing is that you gotta understand, walk with me on this for a little bit. You gotta understand that the concept of the most local, this is including my own husband, is for what we call the home rule of the use of the land. And quote unquote, nobody's gonna come and tell me how to use my land and how to protect it.
Except if it affects
Well,
everybody.
Please,
else.
let me finish. Let me finish. You gotta understand that you come from a different road on things, and that you have put more time in understanding the data that is out there for the quality of the lakes and so on and so forth. So when we're trying to negotiate and come to consensus on where we're gonna land with putting a rule, the initial rule that I read about a year ago was much higher than this.
Right.
So you guys have been able to cut this down closer to what the science tell us that will work. So it's gonna take some time to make this palatable for everybody.
Right.
So I would like you to understand that and have patience with the group. And most people are more in tune with construction and what their clients like to see in the lots. And as I said, even if in my own little lot, I have grandfathered, and I will put a structure there between the structure and the high water mark is about maybe if that 30-40 feet. So that will require me to put 10 feet of buffer. So I said, oh my God, we only have right now like a foot. If we will have to do that, this is how much use of the land I'm using, and that's the land where we have the picnics and we have a volleyball net and so on. So all these things are at least fighting inside my head to reconcile, and maybe I need more education about how much a buffer should be is practical and effective to avoid the issues in the lake. So it's gonna take probably more education and more thinking about it, and it's something that we're not gonna be able to decide tonight. Right, and you guys have done a great job about presenting
Thank you.
and placing this together. I realize how much sweat have been on this, and I can commend you on that. I don't have enough words to
Because it's
make
so-
that.
Because it's so important.
It is important, it's no doubt about that. We are all moving in the right direction for that. That's the goal, but if you wanna go fast, you have to go along. If you wanna go far, we have to go together.
No, we understand that, Sarah, we'd love to come back after
Yeah.
everybody's had a chance to read through this and
But think about it when you go to visit some of these.
Oh, yes.
sites.
I will have it right in my forehead with that.
Yeah.
So I think the board is gonna need some time to kind of retreat and dialogue this, and then probably we'll form a list of questions and so on, and we can move forward.
And when Mullen came tonight, they didn't clearly say to you that they were gonna remove the cement that was there. Now, that's another whole issue of runoff.
Yeah.
Within the shoreline zone.
And they
And then
have,
at the end,
we have protocols
at the end, they say, oh, by the way, we're gonna dig out all the cement. Well, then they're in the shoreline zone. Where's all that mud gonna go?
well, that's,
Well,
all
they
that
have to,
runoff.
they have to. But.
Well, but they
put the
didn't say it at the
foundation.
beginning.
But it's already impervious, so they're not adding, they're just putting foundation. So just so I'm clear.
Yeah.
So it would be 30% of 30 or 30 feet, whichever's less, of the whole width of the property.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, I was reading it wrong, I didn't, because it doesn't say, well, it says width, not depth. So, you know, if it had read depth, then I would have thought, and then no, but I get what you're saying now, I was reading wrong, I just thought you wanted 30 feet of or 30% of the width of
Yeah,
the.
I mean, a real buffer would be a lot more complex
Yeah,
than this. We've had to, and we've gone back and forth with Colin Clark. He was saying, why don't you go and specify all the plants that would go in there? And then we started to think about, you know, if we had to specify and put that in the ordinance, all the plants that would go into a buffer, and then people would be digging up the land along the shoreline and putting in the plants, and then
And who would take care of
and
it?
who would take care of them, they would die, and then you get runoff, so that would be worse. So we come up with what we think is a simple thing, and that, you know, people are gonna mow their lawn, they're gonna maintain their lawn, or it does go back and revert, if it reverts to woody vegetation, then they fall under the.
But they can mow this year, so they can play volleyball.
I don't know.
They can have a picnic.
But so what has happened is that it wasn't until the nineties that the DEP finally put the rules into effect. So what happened was people could do whatever they wanted. So now we have no buffers, and we clearly are seeing that it's eroding and ruining our lakes. So the whole idea of this is to make people aware, yes, to force them to think about how can we get our lakes healthy again? If we don't do something about it, they really are going to turn green. They really are we spend a fortune every year pulling milfoil out of it. We go out and we measure the water. Every 2 weeks, we measure the depth of the water, how far can we see down? You know, and we see that this is real. We see that the water is changing. We send this disc down, and as the water gets darker and darker and darker, you can't send it down further, and that affects the fish, it affects everything.
I think these guys understand, they've seen the pictures of the current problem with, North Pond. With the algae bloom there and possible loss of funding, so they may not be able to do the alum treatment that they'd like to do. I mean, we're all
I got it in my heart and in my mind, and I loved your passion. All right, so don't let that go, keep it going on in those terms, but it's gonna be a dance. It might take longer than we think. Now, this gentleman here in the back and with the hat, are you one of the Seven Lake,
I'm from Seven Lakes Alliance, yes.
okay, so you are one of the biologists or?
I'm not one, I'm on the erosion control team.
Okay, great. So my question to you will be take back to the scientist. Is there any kind of plant that you have seeded and cultured by the youth conservation plant that can be placed close at the end of the buffer zone? That will create a root system that will be like a block. And at the same time retain everything back. So we only need a buffer. This is Sarah and I get thinking that this is possible. I don't think this is possible. We have only a buffer of a foot or two, and then we will be able to preserve the land. I mean, the water.
So, yeah, I mean,
wouldn't say there's a.
What kind of plants will be able to do that?
The type of grasses that grow in just a wild like farm field, they've got really
Dense roots.
much denser,
Yeah.
deeper root structures than.
How long, these are the questions you're gonna take back, how long it takes to grow it, how wide it have to be, and that's it. So that's the question that I have in my head right now.
The minimum width.
Minimum width, we're looking for minimum
Yeah,
width.
30 feet idea.
Yeah, yeah, so how to create that? It will be a great, science project for a PhD program or something like that. Anyways,
Sir, I have a question.
go ahead, please.
In the course of your discussions and in particular with the city of Auburn and their efforts to protect Lake Auburn, which is experiencing some lake water qualities, as you well know.
Right.
Was there any discussion and maybe this in the, in your efforts to come up with a compromise, this was discarded, but taking into account slope, because in most infiltration buffers, slope is an important factor because it determines the velocity of the surface runoff.
I don't know that we talked, I mean, John Blaze came and spoke with us for one of our sessions, and he's the guy that is in charge of this for for Auburn. For the city of
That's a
Auburn.
good point.
What's that?
I said that's a good point.
Yeah,
If it's pitching away from the water.
Right, so I don't remember slope as being affected, they're very forceful, with forcing people, and it's in the whole water.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's their public drinking water
Yeah,
supply,
exactly.
right?
No,
So,
and
yeah,
their
there's
city
big
and-
bucks at risk here.
Yeah.
See, but
what
you're getting to is the very thing that we want people to be talking about. So if people are considering buffers, then they're gonna work harder at making sure that the lake is protected. Looking at slope is very, very important, actually. I look at that whenever I do a Lake Smart review. I want to, because that means the erosion is happening faster, so you've got to put in a deeper and wider buffer, right? But so what we tried to come up with, and believe me, we went back and forth with the DEP, right? Originally, it's trees, middle layer, middle story, high story, bushes, turf, 5 layers. What we tried to come up with, what would be the simplest, most effective, cheapest way to get people engaged in learning and building buffers again. And not require anybody to let trees grow in front of their view. They don't have to do it if they don't want to. They can cut them. That kills me, but that's our compromise.
I really appreciate that. And that took a lot, it certainly, I can appreciate that it took a lot of exchange and a lot of thinking and, bumping everybody and keeping everybody regards, keeping the same road to the goal.
And it's education, that's really education.
Yeah. So with that, I will say if you give us, maybe a month and a half. So we have to discuss in 2 meetings or something like that. What we think we hear, Nick? Maybe. Come back.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be, taking property rights from people, for the greater good, and I agree it's for the greater good, it has to. I mean, we don't, 30 feet seems, a little excessive to me, but,
It could be 3 feet.
yeah, it could be 3 feet, depending on the, right, so they get to keep 60% of their.
And I would think that, you guys are.
I mean, your name is the
applications
planning
and
board,
you're-
so
you're-
we need to plan.
Yeah,
But you're also, you're able to, make a determination, a judgment,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'd love to see you go to jail for your car. In my opinion, pesticides should be straight up.
Yeah, I know.
Swimming in like,
So, yeah, okay,
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe between now and the next time we meet, you could all read it.
That'd be
Or
great.
make notes.
Yes, well,
And come up with questions
and let's see. Let's leave it at, I will get back in touch with you guys when
Okay.
you guys come.
yeah, you think about it,
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank
I appreciate all your time.
Thank you.
And don't let us, allow this to fall through the cracks.
No, we've been working on this for months. We can understand that when we first
So-
see it, it's a lot.
We have a long history of that.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this is the only planning board you have gone to?
Yeah,
This is our planning board.
Yeah.
You're on-
Yeah, but, I
We're
thought this
going
was some more of a, oh, that's right, never mind. I thought this was 7 no, for whatever reason. Never mind.
No,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
just here to observe.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I'm
He's
not-
one of our, we consult with him.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, so that was a very healthy discussion, I guess I will say, so,
Late now.
yeah.
Who's up?
It's 8:30 already. So next item is all business here. And we have 3 topics for all business. Multifamily dwelling unit application and findings of fact, subdivision application review, and fire station permit approval notification. So we have all those forms right here.
Let me just start out by saying that it was in reading some minutes or something that on the multifamily dwelling, they said that leave it till I get back because I was working on it. I can only say that I read George's memo and I don't have any problems with the additions that she had suggested. So,
Okay,
if those are incorporated into the application, then I'm fine with it.
all right, thank you. Huh?
Well, what's our, what's the rule our governor just made? How does that affect what we have here?
What's rule of that?
1829,
She took
so
our home rule away again.
what's going on is. Subdivision of land is staying the same, still 3 to 5 years, but she's allowing. Subdivision as far as multifamily housing units to go to 5 and 5 years. And so anything that's 4 units. Or less does not need planning board approval. What's not clear is. You can have 4 units, 3 units, it's not, doesn't have to go to subdivision. But it's units, talking about bedrooms, so you can have 4 1-bedroom units. And have like a little motel. Or you can do 4 3-bedroom units and have. Condo, I mean, it's,
Did you do that on 1 acre?
yeah,
Yeah,
Actually, you can do it on less than 1 acre. You can do it on 20,000 square feet.
yeah, 20,000, that's right.
If you
You're
got-
exactly right. I did read that.
And it also increases the height of maximum height of structures by 14 feet,
no
so
minimum.
there's an issue for the fire department in terms of, getting an agreement with Augusta and Waterville for the ladder truck. But, I'll just add, so I actually testified against this bill and, and I didn't focus on some of the things that Hans has brought up to the select board, that he just mentioned and others, regarding sprinklers and the like, but, I did, have an email exchange with the woman at the Department of Economic and Community Development that will be writing the regulations that will implement this bill, and she did also the one for its predecessor. And her advice is don't do a blessed thing until we've had a chance to clarify some of the gobbledygook language in the legislation. Which is what we did last time. We waited until they came out with the regulations and they clarified some things and some things they didn't, but. So I wouldn't worry about this, the timing of our work until such time as they come out with their regulations that implement this law.
I mean, cause.
Well, it'll probably be late fall, she said.
Cause the bill takes effect 90 days
Yeah.
after session, which is September.
Yeah, but a lot of it can't be implemented as written. It just doesn't have enough specificity to it. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't even have any deadlines. And so, they're not coming after the legislature's not coming out of the town, after the town of Belgrade.
When I get an application to put in 4 units. In one,
Well, I mean, then we would be up against it, but, you know, until we change the ordinance. Well, I don't know what we would do under that circumstance, where you have the law which would trump our ordinance. We would be in a tough situation, but changing the ordinance and possibly having them change it again because the rules say something different. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, I didn't want to change the ordinance, and I don't care for what is gonna be implemented either. So I was just wondering how that affects what we got.
Well, it means that the ordinance, I mean, I think we are gonna have to change the ordinance if we're gonna be in compliance with state law. I'm just arguing for, let's just do it once. And I think what it means is if we approve this and likewise with the findings of fact and law, I mean, this is more work than what I had to do, but you know, there's a possibility we'll have to change it again. I don't know. It's hard to know.
So what is the LD again, the number?
1829.
but this application has nothing to do with the ordinance. This is just only information that we can apply to the ordinance.
So,
But it's not asking bedrooms, it's not asking lots, it's just,
yeah, right, it's the basic information.
and the only change well,
So,
I would like to add a number 5, dwelling units. Specify dwelling, units and bedrooms. Units could be buildings versus. I don't know. That was the only thing I saw.
so this is the bill that is going, I'm not in complete in tune with that, the bill. This is the bill that's going on through the State House right now.
It's already been approved.
Signed, delivered.
Yeah, it's signed into law.
So it's law.
Right, it was this past legislative session.
So, and what are the deadlines to comply with this thing? No deadlines.
By the way, both our legislators voted against it.
And because that is not practical from what you said here.
Well, it's just like its predecessor, it's a one shoe size fits all approach, and it works perfectly fine for suburban Portland. And larger communities that have the infrastructure to support that kind of a dense housing. But that doesn't include towns like Belgrade or most of the towns.
Just like LD 2003, same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically,
No,
basically I have 4 acres. I could put 16 places on there. 16 dwelling units. In 4 acres.
It's gonna
Okay,
be.
so let me ask this.
Yeah,
Well, we have a housing crisis.
Well,
Housing crisis.
yeah, but this is the lake town. This is
Well,
the, our environment and our needs and constraints are completely different.
and I might be wrong with that. Every 20,000, so I
Yeah.
can put 32 places in there.
In 1 acre,
4 acres.
in 4 acres.
5 bedrooms each, 6 bedrooms, and no limit on bedrooms.
Okay, great. So if we don't do any, hold on. If we don't do anything about it, then we're gonna have the real state people here really plowing us with it, because they would like to do what the state law
Well,
wants.
that's the timing. If you see the bill and we change the ordinance, it's still, we don't have time to get it to town vote. Lou?
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna rush this time.
No, I know we can.
No, okay, it's not possible, right? My point is, if we don't do anything, what are the consequences?
Well, if we don't have any applications, it's zero, but if an application comes before us. And it's in compliance with our ordinance, but it's against state law, then we have an issue, right?
yeah, no, I think that's where the rub comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, you know, the law doesn't even say who enforces it. Obviously, Department of Economic and Community Development, you would think they would be the agency, but they don't really have any enforcement capabilities. They don't even have any enforcement people. But I think, it would play out just as you said, that, you know, we would get a developer that wanted to develop a large condo complex. And we would deny it under our existing ordinance.
Yeah.
And he would take the town to court under state law. That's how it would probably go down.
And he said that, one or two, you don't even have to come to the planning board.
Well, three,
Right.
three, four, you don't have.
Four.
Under lot size, there's a stipulation, does stay the same for all your other residential lots, so it would be 20,000. We'd still be 40,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a lot of, there's some conflict within the law too, you know, so that's why I say that, I think it would behoove us to, in terms of not wasting our time, of, let's see what those regulations say. Because that's, you know, and if somebody, in terms of knowing better what is required of a town like Belgrade, that's gonna be clearer than the law.
And one more update, George.
Well, she said, late fall, maybe a draft, something like that. But, we're on a list, by the way, to get a copy of the draft so that we can review it.
So if somebody comes for an application,
But yeah,
our agenda's booked for our meetings are booked for the next year.
Well, these rules go into effect on September 20th,
Yeah.
and I know there's one application cooking.
Well, and if there's, you know, and that's,
Is it we can get a moratorium on this whole thing?
Well, this one person, I know they're gonna have septic issues making that compliant. But there's no fire code issues between, I mean. It's outside of what I can enforce, I can't do fire code, but there's no stipulation.
Okay, let me step back for a little bit.
Put a firewall between these units, if they take an existing house.
What happened to the towns that didn't comply with LD 2003?
I don't know.
We laugh at it, I don't know.
Well, if that or they're laughing at us for complying.
We were like the first, huh?
Well,
We weren't, but town of Solon was actually in this
Oh, yeah.
part of the state. believe it or
But-
not.
We were on it though.
At least the real estate people in this town were ready to roll with that as the top of the state law read. They didn't read all the way to the bottom of that. Give the towns the ability to hang on to the minimum lot size. So in an acre, we only have 4,000 square feet, we only have one unit. And that's it. The way they read it, oh, we can have 4 units in 1 acre. So now we're going to a second layer of this same kind of mindset. And now we can put, hey, units in 1 acre.
No, because he just said we can hang on to our minimum lot size, so it'd be 4 in an acre. So I could put 16 in my 4 acre lot.
But
Yeah,
You got the money to do it?
I really, you know, to be honest with
Okay,
you,
plenty of the money.
I had back and forth with one of the committee members. And it's clear to me that what the committee members thought the bill was gonna do and what the bill really does are two different things. So that, again, another good reason to wait for the Department of Economic and Community Development to sort all that out. And then let's see what we're up against.
So what I'm hearing is that we're not gonna do anything about it.
I would, well, getting back to the agenda, I would recommend that we proceed with the application.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you know, if we got something in the pipeline coming, then I think we need to do something with the findings of fact and law. I mean, you know, I got a half an hour in this, it's no big deal.
But if it's for a triplex, it wouldn't come to the planning board.
Potentially, yeah,
It would just be, do they have the separate, do they have the same?
but if it did require to come to the planning board, and even if it just came to you, I'd assume you'd want them to fill this out.
Would it be multifamily though, if it's,
Oh,
they're changing the
Oh.
whole designation, it would be a
well,
building.
yeah, well, then you're on your own, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. Good luck with that.
Make the tool that I work with every day a little bit easier to navigate,
Yeah,
because it's complicated as it is right now. You see it twice every month, and see, he doesn't of a day.
Oh, wow. And so,
Anyway, I would recommend we proceed with, on the path we've been on, and in case something comes along and then, I mean, what Rich has done is provide, even if it needs a few tweaks later on, it will make that job a lot easier than if we have to start afresh. It's my opinion.
And I wasn't saying not to do anything like this, I was saying, what's it gonna change?
Yeah, right.
so that said, then, you guys wanna go, document by document first? Which document you guys would like to go tackle first?
Multifamily dwelling.
Multifamily unit. Okay. So, almost 9. So why don't we, see, we used to at least one tonight, and then we progress, so in the light that is so late, and we progress with the rest of them later, on other, meetings, so.
Yeah, I got a 3:30 AM wake up, so.
Yeah, yeah. So, so any concerns about that form as it is now? It's 9 pages. I looked through it very quickly. I don't know if we have to go line by line. It looks very good to me.
Well, George didn't meet all the criteria that you, I mean, I tried to make the punch list from your email.
You made those changes?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you? That's the findings of fact, we talked about this.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
application.
No, if you made those changes, I'm good.
I put them in, but you know, like, the decibel thing, look at the last, I mean, basically, second to last page, number 15, letter C. Wrote it in there,
That's fine.
it's not fancy.
We're fine.
So application for permit on multifamily dwelling, are we gonna vote on that? As it is? So I will entertain a motion to approve the draft as presented.
Make that motion.
All right, second?
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. We're gonna vote. I mean, any discussion, any further discussion about it?
Peter, did you second that?
Yeah.
Yes, Peterson. I heard none. So, Mr. Sakara,
Yes.
Mr. Surgeon,
Yeah.
Mr. Seal,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
and Mr. Rodriguez, 5 in favor, none opposed. The draft of for the application for permit of multi-dwelling family is approved.
We should, add to the footer or someplace on this document, the, date of planning board approval. Just so we know for future reference, as, you know, when we're handing things out, that we're handing out the most recent.
The most reasons is right.
Put that in minutes.
And
So-
George, you're right, I will use this,
Okay.
no reason not to. If it's a multifamily building, it should have the multifamily application.
So, we're going fast on it. So you guys want to go over all the 2 documents quickly?
Yeah, one quick question. there.
Go ahead.
Next Tuesday, when's that, next week?
Next week, 4:30.
Good. Thanks.
All right. We are dealing now with the, this is the final fact.
So on the findings in fact, the red is the changes, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
I don't know what people think of the idea of combining, you know, multifamily dwelling with a subdivision. I thought it might make it easier. But a second document.
I think it should be separate just for my sanity anyways, not to get confused later on. My thought. What everybody else think?
Well, because you want it to be a separate document?
No, I will, that would be my take, but if everybody else is comfortable with this.
When,
But how, do we wanna change this to make it one document rather than two?
It is, it's,
Two different laws, right?
yeah, I know, but it's basically the same information for both ordinances.
Okay,
And that's because, currently, if a project meets the definition of a multifamily dwelling, it also is by de facto a subdivision.
Yeah.
So it has to get approval under both subdivisions, both ordinances anyway, so that's why I combined them into a single decision sheet.
alright, so Sarah, you're suggesting that.
No, in my mind, but I see that in the first page in the top. You know, you can circle what, you will see right off from the first page, what is it, is it subdivision, minor, major, or a multi-dwelling?
Okay.
So you can see it right there in the first page, yeah.
trying to save the taxpayers money on paper.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Nice, nice.
As
work.
far as you going through the application process itself, does it make a difference to you one way or the other? I guess what I'm getting this.
Just gonna check off.
Yeah.
She knows what it is.
Yeah.
Finance of that,
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine.
it's pretty straightforward.
But you're the one doing the list, so if it confuses you.
But
But I think if we add that, kind of, yeah, circle it right at the front page, we should be fine. It's the same questions for all of it anyways.
George, so. Let's just say we get I get an application for 4-unit multifamily dwelling unit. Doesn't have to come to the planning board, but I should still go through a findings and back on it.
After that effective law, the law goes into effect. Boy, that's a good question.
Since our ordinance would apply, we just need to change the ordinance to their new minimum.
Right, yeah, I guess you just change what has to be changed in terms of how you go forward, you know, in terms of, like you said, what needs to get an approval and what doesn't, if it, yeah, I guess if we're gonna apply, if you have to, you as a code enforcement officer have to apply the ordinance. I mean, you know, if the ordinance doesn't contemplate that now,
That's what I'm saying, we take planning board off the top here, so it's
yeah,
kind of. Okay,
we can do that,
yeah, just stroke that. Still says Belgrade.
yeah.
And then the signature page.
Yeah, no, that's easily done. I can do that. But the procedural question I thought you were asking, in addition to that, was. Do you as a code enforcement officer have to complete this form? Under the,
Good practice,
huh,
it would be good practice to do it.
yeah, I guess, I mean, yeah, that would be the prudent, the conservative thing to do. Whether it was legally required, I don't know the answer to that question. For you as a code enforcement officer.
And you did bring up this signature page,
You know, just put a blank, say, you know, title and whatever. That you told me.
I mean, it might be helpful. And might make, I don't know, might even make
I
your
don't know,
job a
maybe.
little easier. You'll have to think about that, but
But the statement. At the bottom there, multi-family dwelling units are legally considered. Require planning board approval.
I mean, part of my sputtering around is that I'm still not entirely clear on that new state law, so.
Yeah.
So let's go forward with this the way it is.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to that later on.
Right, so I will entertain motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the 6/19/25 proposed draft revisions with an edit of taking out the Belgrade Planning Board.
Second, second,
As is. Other than that,
I'll second.
yeah, thank you. We have a motion from Craig and a second from Peter. Any further discussion? I hear none. Mr. Sakara?
Yes.
Mr. Surgeon?
Yes.
Mr. Seal?
Yes,
Mr. Alexander?
yes,
And Mr. Longa is 5 in favor, none opposed. So we approved the proposed draft revisions of 6/19 for the subdivision final plan and multi-family dwelling approval and findings of fact.
so I'll just change the, from red to black and make the change with removing Belgrade Planning Board and add, a new adoption date.
Thank you.
And then I'll send that to everyone and to, in particular to you.
So you're gonna change the red to all black?
Yes,
Yellow.
And Mary, and this needs a copy to make it official. She stores it someplace.
okay,
She knows where everything is.
yeah, she does.
Okay. Fire station approval notification.
All right, so what you've got there is, that was one of the conditions of approval for the fire station, so this is just. Information you can read and make comment on, but they've been given. Self-governance basically. By the state.
Yeah.
So,
Very
Okay,
good.
new business, Gallon salt ordinance.
So I don't know how much you really want to discuss this tonight, but, you may recall, the select board has asked us to develop a ordinance to deal with the area of town, this area of town that's, impacted by the, salt contamination from the DOT in town, sand salt piles. And so, I know Sarah was there, although actually for something else as well. I don't think you were there, Craig, at the select board meeting, but maybe I'm wrong about that. So we had sent them a series of questions, you may recall, written questions, and so we had this sort of wide-ranging discussion as a result of that. In their attempt to kind of answer those questions. This is what this is the gist of what I thought they told us how to proceed. I sent it back to them and the town manager and asked, is this right? We never heard back. So make that what you will of it, but I believe it is accurate, and whenever we move forward with this, assuming that we've moved forward with it, that's another discussion to have, but I think this there's aspects of this that I don't, in terms of their decisions, I don't like or agree with, but it's their decision, not ours. So that's all it is. At that point, when we do go forward, if we decide to go forward,
So that.
this would be a place to start in terms of guidance.
See, I, want to take the opportunity right now to thank Mr. Seal for all this work. Taking the time to pull all this together. It was an interesting exchange, the meeting with the select board, just to say the least. So, thank you so very much.
No problem.
Approval of previous minutes. We have two set.
Are we gonna vote to approve this or?
No, it was more informative than anything else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's approve the ones of, April 17th.
From the draft, and I touch been.
Thank you.
Watermark.
I got a question. So Rich, as an alternate, you can't vote for chair, but you can vote for vice chair.
I think it was, I. I'm just.
It says Rich second, but he's an alternate, so he removed his second, and then 2 lines down, it says Rich nominated George. Vice chair. Nick second, and George accepted.
Rich was the fifth one.
Well,
That's right.
nomination versus voting is different, right?
Oh, I remember now. It was because, people didn't realize I was online. I was,
Oh, yeah.
attending by Zoom.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, good.
That's what that was all.
Good catch.
You could
Yeah.
second.
No, I just,
We're gonna have some fun, Baker, you know? You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, I will entertain a motion for, the approval of the minutes.
I have something, Emily.
All right,
Request. Under request for proposal at Center for All Seasons discussion. The purpose is to put in a pad. The purpose was, is that it? Was that the path? Is this the path?
Handicap is accessible.
Path to the lake,
Yeah.
so it wasn't a pad,
It was a path,
it was back.
it was a
P,
handicap.
yeah,
accessible-
PH.
walking
I
path,
totally forgot.
sorry.
I read that and I was like, Pat, I don't remember
Well,
that.
Made perfect sense to me since I couldn't remember that it was a pad.
Yeah. So I just went to the reason why I caught that is I just went to the select board meeting Tuesday night and they got their bids in. And they rejected all the bids because everybody bids gravel. And gravel doesn't meet the ADA standards. So, and you had mentioned they couldn't pave it. So I had mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong, they could use concrete. You can pour concrete in the lake, you can pour concrete in foundations right up to the lake. So,
No, I talked to Cohen today, he said you can put gravel with Trex deck on top of it, but you can't do pavement, you can't do concrete.
well,
You're not supposed to pour real concrete in the lake, you're supposed to be cured first. They drop it in the lake.
well, yeah, but you still have, I mean, it can be there, so you have to put up, you need to make it dry, pour your concrete. And let it cure, and then take your dams, your coffer dam down. But either way, it's still going in the lake. And,
Emailing back and forth with Cohen. And, well, board. With Grubba, because. They're saying now you can have a harder structure like gravel. Or, but it can only be 4 feet wide.
yeah, but it needs to get their financing. And it needs to be ADA compatible. So someone needs to talk to them.
Because handicap access doesn't necessarily mean it has to be ADA.
Yes, to get their bond, to get their money. it
The
has to
ARPA
be
money has to be ADA.
Yeah. Yeah, the ARPA money, yes, you're correct, yeah. You may wanna mention that to the town manager or whatever. That they can't use concrete, because I don't understand why we can't use concrete. We can put a foundation right up next to the lake. So why can't you put a other concrete right in there?
Well, it's kind of where I'm going with the conversation, but you know, it's a conforming lot. Any new structure needs to meet the setback, so from 100 feet back, yes, we can do concrete.
Yes,
But
but
from
this is,
100 feet to the lake,
but just, you throw the handicap in with it. So that's a different story,
so
so.
there's no exception for handicaps in shoreline zoning.
Hmm.
Is that true? That's not true, I don't think.
Say it again.
There's no exception for handicap access in shoreline zone.
There's some limited through the Board of Appeals, right, Rich?
That there is a provision. The Board of Appeals can deal with handicapped access, but that I think is the structure.
Yeah, I mean,
Get in?
They have to show a financial hardship. There is no financial hardship there.
well.
No, for him.
I vaguely recall looking into this when we had the application that you mentioned earlier by that couple from Skowhegan. And there's actually broader authority that a town or board of appeals could for issuing variances, whether it would apply to a walkway, I don't recall, but unfortunately, our Board of Appeals never adopted it in their ordinance. But be that as it may, the only way I know of is through the Board of Appeals, not through us.
So why is the town getting bids if they can't even know, don't even know if they can do it?
You know, as an example,
And
you
is it
got the,
different
over in.
for a municipality than it is for a resident.
Don't think there's any real difference. The thing that I know is in the past, when I was dealing with handicapped access or things like that, is that they always caution very much of pushing the limit on handicapped access because as long as you'll never win. Whether that is a legal term, I never win, but it's pretty hard to win a handicapped access suit by going against it. But, yeah.
Wait a second, across the way by Long Pond, you got the Elizabeth Arden type of estate there,
Travis Mills Foundation.
Travis Mills Foundation, all right. They have a handicap access from the road, paved road all the way down to, Long Pond there.
Mhm.
They got approval. So,
Different town.
well, I think it's a federal law, you're dealing with.
State, yeah.
Well, I was gonna do a site visit over there, see what they got tomorrow, because
Pardon?
I was gonna go over there tomorrow to see what they've got.
Yeah.
Because
that's a good idea.
I'm pretty sure it's steep. And I'm pretty sure like their actual access to the lake is stairs. And they probably have one of them lift chairs, you know, like in Gremlins, it keeps the lady through the roof.
I don't know, they have some removable
Something wrong with
dogs
this
or
picture.
something. And, they have some removable stuff, cause
Yeah,
Mount Vernon's actually more stringent than Rome, I think. And it's in both towns. There's something to do with that, but anyways, all right, so that was my thing.
Thank you for calling.
Like how they have it all.
Any more changes to the minutes? So, we're gonna vote on it now, on this one,
Sure.
on, April 17th. We're gonna go, Mr. Sakara.
Yeah,
Do you need a motion?
We made the motion, did we make the motion? I thought we made the motion. You just want it, okay, I will entertain the motion to approve the minutes of 4/6/17
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 4/17/25
as amended.
as amended.
Second,
I'll second.
all right, Nick, move the motion and Mr. Sergeant seconded. Okay, we're gonna have any more discussion? I hear no. So, Mr. Sakara,
Yes.
Mr. Sergeant,
Yeah.
Mr. Seal,
yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes,
and Mr. Angus, 5 in favor, no opposed. That was a good catch, Craig. Thank you. Minutes of June 5th. I will entertain a motion to approve of minute of June 5th.
I have one suggested addition. Under new business, Mr. Chesley and the property across the street here. Under decision, one of the key decisions we made was that he did not have to get a new permit. And so I think we need to document that, and I would suggest adding something like this, and I have it written down so that I can give it to you.
Okay. This is under A.
Yes, under after decision, after this.
Okay.
The colon, the board decided a new permit was not required and informed Mr. Chesley he had to comply with the existing permit issued to the prior landowner.
I didn't get it after required. Would you repeat it after required?
I'll give it to you,
Oh, okay, good. I said,
if everybody agrees that is.
Yeah.
the board decided a new permit was not required.
Yeah, it starts off with that.
I wasn't here that day, but that's the automobile repair.
Yeah, across the way, this gentleman is purchasing the property.
Oh, okay.
And,
Who's
I
gonna
can't
buy it?
remember, landscaping?
Yeah, last.
Yeah.
Who?
Landscape.
Landscape.
That's my guy.
Oh,
And this is the car dealer or who?
Yeah, it's gotta look better than it does now.
Yeah.
what about Ralph's place there, the, renting track, kayaks, that facility?
That's off topic.
That's okay.
Yeah, but let's spend. 15
Let's
minutes
start
on
with the
it.
meeting. All right, any other changes to this minute? All right, so no changes, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of June 5th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of June 5th,
As amended.
as amended.
All right.
I'll second it.
So, Peter has the motion, Mr. Sakaro, seconded, so we're gonna vote now. So, in this one, it's only 4 people that can approve it, that were present. So, Mrs. Morale,
Yes.
Mr. Sakaro,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
and Mr. Seal.
Yes,
So 4 approval, none opposed. And I abstain, Cheryl and Gail abstain, and, Mr. Surgeon abstain as well. Because we were not present,
Made a motion.
all right? So, discussion, LD 1829, I think we went through that, didn't we?
Yeah, that was gonna be discussed at a later date, but we did it tonight.
All right. Ordinance amendment moving permit requirement for structures placed less than 72 hours.
Yeah, shoreline zone and minimum lot size, the administration. Sections states that permits must be required for structure, all structures, permanent or temporary. Prior to their erection or being put to use. So. Structure,
When does this take effect?
no, this is a question.
Oh.
Do we need to amend our ordinance?
Oh.
Because right now. That means before they're erected, so like Seven Lakes Alliance had a party last weekend with the tent. All right. Take
I'm sorry, what they have?
And
a tent,
So Camp Moden would have to come get a,
so no, it was like a 60 by 100 tent for an event they were having.
yeah,
Now, let's just pretend it wasn't a shoreline zone that didn't apply, but the whole structure of putting up the tent.
Yeah.
Requires a permit. Under the ordinance,
Oh, okay.
because it says. Structure, tent is a structure, it shelters.
doesn't need a approval, just a permit. We wouldn't have to come before the planning board.
Either way, if it did or if it didn't, do we wanna put a 72-hour. Clause in there for structures. That will be in place for one.
No, what I was saying is Camp Moden talking about putting that. Big tent over the rest of that slab, they would have to get a permit or approval for that thing.
well, we add that to the amendment, to the ordinance, yeah. So you want a kind of add in the ordinance that structures that are gonna be standing for more than 3 days,
Yeah, for less than 3 days, don't need the permit.
less than 3 days, no need.
So if you're having a wedding at your house, put up a
Yeah.
tent. You don't need a permit, as long as it's up Friday down, you know. And I figure 72 hours is long enough to kill grass or start vegetation, start to die.
well, and it would even be long enough for a Greek wedding.
My God.
No, that's politically correct.
But shoreline zone ordinance, I think we can't, I mean, because that's getting less stringent. Then we're not allowed to do that.
Sounds like we don't have an option. Okay,
But outside shoreline zone, we do have an option.
yeah,
So minimum lot size, we can change that, so events. At people's homes and things, they don't have to get a permit for a tent that's gonna be there for a weekend.
So you have to issue permit for tents?
Yes, it's a
No.
structure, it's the ordinance says structure. And you look at the definition of structure, if it shelters animals, humans. It's a structure.
So if I set up a party behind my house to do camping, that includes that, a little, just even pitching a tent? I will have to come here to get a permit.
Don't call it.
No,
Enforcement.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
But this has come up, it's come up.
Interesting. So I like that deal, the waiting of 3 days.
A lot of times people have weddings, right? And they
Yeah.
put a big,
Yeah, it
tent
is.
up,
And
you know,
Well,
and they leave
this is the
it
first
out.
time I hear that. We run out of Boy Scout camping behind my house 3, 4, 6, 7 years.
But
I never thought of it, but, I have a former colleague whose daughter and her husband run a wedding venue place on Sebago Lake, and they don't have a they don't have a barn or anything like that. They leave up a tent all for 6 months.
well, that's the thing also is. There's another property in town that puts up the tent. all
Does it
summer
have to be
long.
enclosed? It has to be enclosed, right?
If it's a shelter, it's a shelter.
So if I put in, somebody wants to put a
Canopy.
yeah, a table with a big
Yeah.
umbrella that you send them.
Yeah, the farmer's market.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you see, oh, that's right. Do actually they have to
no,
come
I'm
here?
talking about like a patio set that has like a sunbrella that shelters you, you know what I mean, from the sun.
I mean, how far you want to take?
Yeah.
I would think it has to be.
So where are you looking at, where you finding that,
In shoreline zone, section 16 in the back, number 2, I think it is.
But you're looking for time constraint, time limit, you should have, yeah, you're right.
But-
That's legitimate.
It's just gonna help you manage.
Yeah,
this,
I would have
road.
thought that DEP would have had to dealt with this a long time ago, simply because of, well, all the stuff that happens along the coast, among other places.
Well. How about in shoreline zone where the edge of the tent's only 10 feet from the. Go stream.
We never even gave thought to somebody putting up a tent for a wedding.
Right.
Runoff, all the runoff.
Well, and, I can understand that nobody even think they asked the question kind of thing for something like that. But, like I said, this wedding venue is like a, seasonal structure. It isn't there for 3 days or a weekend or anything like that. It's there for 6 months.
I would imagine that to be like enclosed, right?
So are you,
Well, probably did have those clear plastic
Yeah.
things that they, at least in a
But I mean, if
minute.
you have a patio set. Like an umbrella.
are you running into this issue, Hans, with somebody doing? Like
Oh, yeah,
putting up tents and leaving them all summer long?
Yeah,
yeah,
go look at the village inn.
Oh, God.
yeah. Yeah, you can't do that.
I never thought of that.
And that water is running right down.
Yeah, well,
Look at
that's,
this picture.
does make
It's
sense.
running right down to the edge of the grass.
Yeah, these people that
All
sit
the
here
water
really,
running up these torrential downpours.
daily, they should be here, listen to this.
And it's
They go
covered
nuts.
like that.
Yeah,
Really?
it's right there. Yeah, it is.
25-foot setback zone,
It is.
and guess who the evil person in town is? This guy. But that's flagrant, I mean, that's like a structure all summer, killing the grass,
It is.
water's erosion, you got
I never,
every
I didn't, I
element
never, I never thought of that.
problem there. And I'm out of line.
I agree, it's a structure,
So. You wanna have an interesting evening, come to the next select board meeting.
Oh, God.
How much is the fine if they keep it up?
Well, they're not breaking it, as of right now. well,
Huh?
they're not breaking it.
Right now, there is no fine, it's just,
Yeah.
but
I know, but,
compliance is sought, but.
Well,
Compliance isn't happening.
okay, well, you put them in notice, right? You gotta make this, you put them in notice, you can't do it, then they don't,
the weather.
pay attention to that, they're gonna find it. So.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, that's a go.
Yeah.
Sergeant.
I know.
Sorry, Hans.
Seal. Yes, Seal.
Yes.
Okay, Alexander.
Yes.
Sarah again, yes, 5 yes, no, no opposed, and we're adjourning.